Yeah, check 1 2, check 1 2. Is this mic on? Is this mic on? Hey, listen, man, it's the one and only trendsetter DJ Sense, and you're listening to CockTales, dirty discussions with Kiki and Medinah, Monroe. Yeah.
Today's cocktail is called Jokes on You. The ingredients you need: some gin, some pineapple juice, some lime juice, an egg white. Yes, an egg white, basil leaf, and coconut water. So here's how we're gonna make a Jokes on You, nigga. You're going to get 2 ounces of gin, pour it into your shaker without any ice. We're pouring all of our liquids into our shaker without any ice. Oh. That's the coconut water. And then we need 1 ounce of pineapple juice. I really don't be measuring though, y'all. I'm just pouring and looking. We will put I already cracked my egg white because I didn't want to do it on camera because I knew it was gonna look nasty. So we're gonna pour just the egg white into our mixture. Oh my God, it looks nasty. And then we're gonna do a little bit. Again, this is very concentrated lime juice. If you have fresh lime juice, go ahead and do that. And then we are going to shake this bad boy. Remember, there's no ice in here. I think we're activating the egg whites. And we are going to shake. I can feel the egg yolk. Like, I can feel it. God dang. Can you take this off? We don't have to stop. Perfect. Sorry if you got a little egg white on you. Okay, so then we're gonna put ice in. And we're gonna shake it again with the ice cubes, because who wants to drink hot egg? All right. Shake it until it gets cold, the actual shaker. And that's how you know you shook it enough. Then we are going to strain it. We should have a little bit more liquid, but when you make this at home, you can do that, okay? And then we're gonna put our basil leaf as a garnish, just right on top. Now let's taste it. It smells really good, but I'm a little nervous. Jokes on you, nigga. This is tasty, y'all. Make this at home. Cheers.
Welcome back to CockTales Dirty Discussions, you guys.
Hey, y'all.
I am Kiki. Sometimes I forget to reintroduce ourselves because we might have new people. They be like, who the fuck is this talking? They don't even know. I'm Kiki, y'all, in case you got confused.
I'm Medinah Monroe. And before we introduce our guest, because I see that you have your Vesper on, I just want to reiterate to everybody, you can still use our link. It's actually a new link. I don't know if you saw T's email. We'll add it into the description because, listen, holidays are coming up, birthdays are coming up, weddings is coming up. Get somebody a Vesper. It's cute.
And they have a new piece of jewelry, too. And it's a ring.
I have it.
It's a vibrator ring. And I actually got to test it out for them way back when they were still making them. Now, they do take a while to ship, I think, because, you know, they're very special. But it's a great toy. It's a great conversation piece. You should buy that, and I'm curious to know. And then you're going to have a perfect date. We do have guests today, but I do want to remind everybody that anything that we discuss today, any promotions that are in this episode, anything that Medinah or I have going on, there's links in the description box, whether you're watching this on YouTube or listening to it on one of the audio podcast apps. So just go down there and check for the links. Sometimes I'll be looking for the links and they're there.
That is true. Also, if you're listening to the show and you like what you see, make sure y'all post it on social media and tag us so that we know that you're liking the content. I get so many private videos of clips from the show, and I'm like, can you post it in your story and tag us?
They don't want nobody to know.
Oh, is that it?
Maybe they're listening at work or something, and so they don't want to post, or they have a private page.
Oh.
Huh. Yeah.
Okay, y'all. Well, this week we have Mel and Talley from Jokes on You podcast.
Hi. Hey, girls.
Hey, y'all.
I'm so excited.
This is so fun.
Another Atlanta-based podcast.
Yes, we're out here.
Y'all out here working. What's y'all show about?
So, it all started with our dads. I'm just kidding.
No.
Literally. So the tagline is 2 female comedians poking fun at the ups and downs of life. So just trauma. The new tagline is like 2 female comedians in Atlanta who, instead of going to therapy, decided to start a podcast.
Yeah.
So
I can see that. It is like therapy.
Yeah.
it is like therapy.
And
so
it's much cheaper.
Yeah.
It's much
Well, depending on
What?
what you're putting into
No,
it.
it's not.
We got a
No,
nice
it's
little
not.
bill that we.
Yeah. But there's a return. There's a return on the podcast.
Yeah.
Only
it
if you
ain't
join
cheaper,
Patreon and not the free option. Yeah.
No, but yeah, so we just sit and talk about our trauma in life and, you know, how that affects our day-to-day current events, just how we navigate life through all the fuck shit.
And then also like making sure we're a support system for our audience. And that kind of happened like not against our will, but that was not our
Kind of
goal
just happened
in the first place. But we have a really strong community of people who listen to us. And I think that, you know, that's part of the ministry, you know,
Yeah.
but I feel like we're helpful to other people. So that's my favorite part. You know,
never know how you're helping somebody.
Absolutely.
And the more authentic people are, like, to talk about what you're going through, that's how people connect. When you are a real person and you tell them the struggles that you have made it through.
Yeah, and we're very real, very vulnerable. We tell more information. We should tell 10,000, however many strangers a week. We probably shouldn't be doing that, but we do it anyway. And I think that's what makes us so relatable and why people connect with us. And we have the Gen Z nieces.
We got some Gen Z nieces.
girlies, and they take our advice.
Hey, girls.
Very, very intense advice letters that we get.
Yeah, they be really going back and forth, don't they?
Yeah.
In their heads about what to do about everything.
And why are you asking us?
But so brave to write a letter, because like I think of some of the things that I've done when I was a young person, and it's like, maybe bitch, you should have wrote a letter to somebody instead of doing that stupid shit. For somebody to be able to write out all their problems and be like, I trust these people to give me advice, like that means a lot to me. Yeah.
That's important. Are y'all single?
No.
Married, dating?
No, we're not married. You got a boyfriend.
You got a boyfriend.
He started to go a little gibberish.
We got little homeboys, you know, whatever.
You know.
Okay, we got boyfriends.
And then how did y'all start with comedy specifically?
Do you want to go first or?
You started before I did.
I forget that quite often. So I was going through a horrendous romantic experience. And I was making such dark jokes to my best friend. Hello, Rodney. I have a guy best friend, and Hi, Rodney. I was making such dark jokes to him, and he's not the type of person to be like, "No, don't say that." He'd be like, "That shit is funny."
Say it again.
And he would say it
Like
again.
what?
Dark.
Okay.
Like, so I'm making very dark jokes, and he was like, "You should do stand up," and I was like, "You think I'm finna go say this shit on stage in front of people? No, I'm not doing that." And then he called me pussy, which is the way to get me to do just about anything. If you say pussy, I'm be like, I got your pussy, and then I'm gonna go do it. So I did. I wrote some jokes, and I did a 5-minute set. And I think the first time that you get on stage and tell jokes, if I don't do hard drugs, that's the closest I'm ever gonna get to that high of getting on stage and like killing it. And I was like, if I could just recreate this over and over again, I might heal myself. So I just kept doing it.
I love that.
Yeah, similar. So I had a podcast in like the early aughts, like 2016, when I had to, most of my podcast promotion was explaining what a podcast was in 2016. And I always would just say anything on like Snapchat, Twitter, whatever. I just would say just whatever the fuck. And I had a homeboy, Ronnie, which I don't know what these Rods and Rons are about.
Ronnies.
He was like, "You're so funny, you should write these things down and do stand-up." And I was like, also like, Talley, no, I'm not fucking doing that. And then later in 2017, like I had a breakup and I lost my job. And I was just like, like, I gotta do something. Okay, fine. I whipped out that fucking spiral notebook and I just started writing down all of my feelings. I wrote down like, so my dad passed away when I was 15. And I tell a lot of dark jokes about that because it's funny to me. And that's healing for me as well. I wrote those jokes down and I still didn't do it for like 6 months. And then one day he was like, "Come to my show, but bring your notebook." And I was like, fine. And I did it. And like, when you get that first laugh, do y'all watch The Boys? Do y'all know like when Homelander?
Seen it, but I don't watch it regularly.
It's like
everybody
moment.
keeps telling me to watch. I
Y'all
really
need to watch The
it.
Boys. Absolutely, it's one of the best
What
superhero
is it
shows.
on Netflix?
It's on Prime.
Okay.
The Boys on Prime is insane. Now it's gory, but it's really good. So basically, like if superheroes were like a corporation, right? But yeah, so it's a moment where like Homelander's a villain. He's like a version of like Captain America / Superman. So he's super powerful, and he just like kills somebody. And he's like, "Oh fuck, I just killed somebody in front of everybody. Like my stock is gonna plummet." And everyone just is like, "Yeah!" And he's like, That was me. When I got on stage, it was just like fucking goony goo goo. And everybody was like, "Ha, that's funny." And I'm like, "Oh,
Y'all like this shit?
And that kid just kept going. And like, the first couple ones are kind of rough. And then, but you get better and better. And you got like, get your cadence, you get your footing in stand up. And then I met her doing stand up.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of just clicked. And he was like, you want to start a podcast? And then we started a podcast. And here we go.
I love and commend any comedian, funny or not, because I tried it and I was like, whoa, can't do this. Like it's too, the stress and the anxiety that I felt on the stage. I did it 3 times.
Okay.
And
You used to be at Fem Space.
I used to be at Fem Space. Shout out to Cece.
That's where we met at Fem Space. We used to be at Fem Space.
Yeah, all the time, hanging out with Cece. And I also didn't know, I was stalking you guys. I didn't know that you guys were once kind of like a trio with Lauren.
Yes.
Lauren used to open up. She's opened up for a few of our live shows.
Yes. So we all met. Well, I met Lauren like in the early aughts of doing comedy, but we met doing Comedy Hype. Yeah. They were doing like, yo, we got some females in the house kind of shit.
We got some vaginas in the building.
Where the females at? So they had like a girls thing, and then we were all being funny, and then it was like,
and then it started to be like getting booked after that. Like once I think people who booked started realizing we were hanging out, we would either 2 of us would end up on the same show or all 3 of us would end up in the same place.
And then Fem Space, we were always there because that was the one place we wouldn't have to deal with dicks.
Yeah.
And then it just became a thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So just stand up started all of this.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was there.
It's like we've had 2 different shows too. Because, when Lauren was here, like our dynamic was so different.
Yeah.
And now that it's just Melanie and I, like we're kind of working through things, and it's a wonderful show still. Both sets of the show were amazing.
And Lauren is like so funny, and she would just say the craziest shit you ever heard that you know. Like when she was telling us about the lizard people.
Oh my God.
That is the funniest shit I ever heard. She's like, she has like her conspiracies. And she was saying that the conspiracy part of YouTube, they talk about the ocean and shit, but they talk about the lizard people. Look into it. Look into it.
Well, I don't know if these are the same lizard people. My mama loves conspiracies.
Okay.
She was saying that something about the lizard people being aliens or some shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Hollywood is like the lizard people.
It's
a whole
No. Don't Google lizard people.
No, I'm just going to add it to my list so I don't forget. Because y'all have told me 55 things.
Yeah, it's going to be a whole thing.
And like looking at them and their profiles.
I remember when she told us
like
about Long Pig. I was so stressed out.
Long Pig was
my
crazy.
God.
What is that?
So apparently cannibalism. Tap in. That's like the code word for like if a person's like shopping for people meat, like they call it long pig. And she said it so casually, like it was a thing we were supposed to know. And I'm like, no.
How you know this?
Wait right there. What the fuck is a long pig?
Yeah. So we learned a lot from
Lauren.
So it's like different, but it's still the same kind of unhinged. Like, are y'all ladies okay? And the answer is always no.
Yeah, no, we're not
Who
all
is
right.
okay? Who is okay?
What is
I
okay?
get it.
Life is hard. Okay, ladies. So, excuse me. Before we dive into weird sex, we're going to play a game with you to get to know you a little bit better. It's a game that Kiki and I created. It's called I'm Curious to Know.
Okay.
You typically play this game with someone that you fucking trying to fuck or already did fuck.
Okay.
But since none of us have done that yet, okay, so I'll go first. I'm curious to know, what's the biggest age gap you have dated?
Who are you asking?
Both of you. So whoever
I'm
wants to
lame.
go first.
So mine was like 4. So
it was a 4-year
Yeah.
age gap? Okay.
I very briefly, when I was 22 or 23, dated a 52-year-old man.
You were struggling.
I
was in the back?
I didn't even look at it like that. He was just handsome. Like he was handsome, and I knew he was old, but I was like, okay, if he old and I'm 22, he gonna have some money. So like I thought about that part too. And I was poor, but that wasn't the entirety of it. And he's just fun. And I was like, no nigga my age has access to the things that this person has access to. I'm finna have me some old nigga fun. And he gonna go to sleep at 8 p.m. And he gonna get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go run it. And I have so much free time because he's 100. And I had a blast.
Old nigga fun is fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you guys be okay not having oral sex again ever? I gotta think about this. Like,
I mean, do I get something in return for not doing it?
no, it's just gone.
I think
Giving or receiving.
I ain't never got to suck a dick again. I'm fine with that. I'm okay. Okay. For me, once I'm having sex with someone, head is kind of just like fine. But like if there's dick here, I just go and give me the dick, honestly. Like dick is fine. Dick is perfectly fine with me. Like
You got to eat this pussy.
you have to, like that is part of it, but I'm not super pressed.
I'm
going
pressed
bring
like
the
a
dick.
motherfucking panini.
I'm
for
pressed.
that
I'll be
neck.
scooting.
I'm sorry.
I will scoot up.
I greatly enjoy head, but I'm a dick. I choose dick over head. Once dick is on the table. Now, if you just an eater and you eating, then let's eat. But like this also dick, like
It's just something about the art of eating pussy that, especially if you're really good at, like, I like to hear the sounds. I like to hear you slurping it up. I like to see you enjoying it.
like that look up, like the lion in
or the spread apart. Like to know that you are really enjoying this and you're not even getting you're not getting anything. Like
it's nothing. Not that it's nothing for you. But it's like, to me, it's like worship. Like it feels like worship. And that's what I like about it. And that's what I like about doing it too. Now, am I an absolute sucky cock monster?
I'm
Depends. But like, it's a service. And I just really enjoy that part of it. And to be honest, I'm not really into it because like, I got shit to do anyway. So if I'm just out here taking dick and then that's the end of it, I could go like do some taxes or learn a skill. I'm straight.
Now y'all make a great case for head. Honestly, I do enjoy it. Y'all
I like
right.
sucking dick too. It's fun.
But
I enjoy it, but I don't
want
wanna. I want to have some dick inside of me. I don't want just head.
no, I still want some dick now.
Like some people would be okay with just head because they love it so much. You know?
I'm not one of them. Dick me.
Yeah.
Cook my meat.
In my mind, if we exchanged mouths, we had some sex. In my mind, like
sex was already had.
Sex was already had. Like just because it's missing dick doesn't mean sex didn't happen to me. So I'm straight. I'm going about my day. I know most men are not like that, but like, thanks, and I can go. I'm good. I don't really need the meat part.
Meatless
Meatless Mondays.
Meatless Mondays. Man, remember that in the cafeteria?
That's a title. Meatless Mondays.
in the caf?
We had meatless Mondays at this place I worked. So,
we had meatless Mondays at my HBCU in the cafeteria.
Really?
What school did you go to?
FAMU.
Oh, my brother went there only for 1 year and then he went back to white people's school. Okay.
That'll do it.
Next one. I'm curious to know, do y'all believe in living together before marriage?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
To an extent. Like,
we actually both write jokes about this, I think. Have we both written
I haven't
jokes?
read any jokes because I
I
haven't
thought you
really...
did.
I cannot imagine getting married and not knowing what you live like in a real way because you don't really get to experience how somebody lives unless you live together. Even if you're over there all the time, there is something different about like, I am moving my stuff in or you're moving your stuff in.
Yeah.
We're going to see how you are in the bathroom. How do you close the toothpaste cap? Is there a lot of toothpaste around it? Like all of these things say something about your character and I need to see it.
Yeah. I'm currently living with my partner. And we are currently moving out. We're going to stay together. We are still going to be in an exclusive relationship.
You're going to live separately.
But we're going to live separately. I never wanted to live with a man. That's actually like one of my taglines in my comedy. Like, I don't want a man in my home. Like, I straight up don't want it. But, you know, I've been enjoying my partner and I love him. So I was excited to do it. But it's one of those things that like, because my joke that I do for stand-up is like, what if we live together, I find out he keeps a booger wall? Like, what if we get married and then he just puts his boogers on the wall? What am I supposed to do then? Like, I have no recourse. But like, for example, like I'll even say today, you'll live with the person and you'll think that you're like on the same wavelength, right? And so we needed some more tissue. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to do the grocery order, have it sent to the house in the morning. Fine, boom, tissue done. He's being sweet. He's like, you know, I'm already out. I'm going to stop and get the tissue,
He
whatever.
got the wrong type of tissue.
He
Either
brought
too thin or too
home-
thick.
I know it wasn't Scott.
Some Scott. And I said, you could have just punched me in my face if you was gonna bring me Scott. Scott is for
He may as well
flat
gave you sandpaper too,
You-
because
you-
it's rough.
You could have
Yeah.
bought me the rag that you change your oil with.
Niggas don't do shit
But
right.
he's such a sweetheart. He didn't do it on purpose. We just don't. This is just not something.
He saw
that's-
toilet tissue.
He saw
get
toilet
it.
tissue and that it wasn't expensive. And he took it home. So that's the kind of thing with living with your partner. You find out that you need to know. So now, if we get married, you just not on tissue duty. I
Now,
know
is
that
there
about
anything
now.
that you found out about yourself that he was like, bro, this ain't, stop doing this?
So one thing that I did that was very single of me, because I was living alone, is that I will use my washer as my hamper. So like I will just take my clothes off and put them in the hamper to cut out the middleman. In the washer to cut out the middleman of having a hamper. So my laundry doesn't pile up because it will. And he was just very much like,
What the fuck?
if I come in here to do laundry one more time
and
and
it's
it's
already
full of clothes that you don't plan on washing today, I'm gonna lose it. And I was just kind of like,
yeah, that is.
I can
but
see how
living by myself, I'm not accountable to anybody for that.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
me. But I don't know. I think we're gonna have to be neighbors even if we get married. We might not be able to live together.
Gwyneth Paltrow and her husband did that. They were married, but they lived in separate houses.
They're
I like
divorced
it
now, right?
Yeah, they did.
Well, they tried.
They tried.
You have another one, Kiki?
Yes. Okay. Have you ever blown up someone's phone calling at least 10 times in a row and tell us a story? I knew it was gonna be a yes.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go. I mean,
I might have in my crash out era because it was that little period of time, them 2-3 months, I was doing anything.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was looking at you like, I know you have. So
But it's such a distant memory for me. I have blocked out that whole part of my life.
I mean, I haven't
Probably,
done that since I was a very young person. I will say too, a short story is when I didn't know what Do Not Disturb was when iPhones were like becoming iPhones.
Like you didn't know what it meant.
I didn't know what it meant. So I didn't know that like you're calling this person and then it declines. It's not their phone being off. It's
They're
it's on Do Not
intentionally
Disturb.
like.
So I was calling this dude just like hoping his phone came back on because I was pressed and I just really wanted to talk to him. So I'm like, damn, this nigga phone's still off. It's still off. I'm trying to call it. He was like, you've called me 17 times. And I was like, I've done no such thing. You made that up. He was like, I see it. And I was like, how? I thought it was off. He was like, it's on Do Not Disturb. I was like, what's Do Not Disturb?
So what were the increments of time that you were calling?
I was in college and I was in the library and I was studying.
How far apart were these?
It
calls?
was maybe like 6 minutes apart, 7 minutes apart because my ADHD was getting a hold of me. I couldn't focus. So really what I was calling for was a body double. I wanted somebody to be on the phone with me while I was studying so I could focus. And he was like,
So 5 times 17. Hold on, let's figure
don't
this
math
out.
me,
I need
Melanie.
a calculator.
That's
for
over
that
an
now.
hour.
Listen.
I mean, I was
That's a good. I'm not gonna math it right now because I'm not that quick because 17 will fuck me up.
Mhm.
But that's
because I'm trying to do it in my head.
But
It's already
I thought
too
it
late.
was
It's at
just
least
I
about-
thought
It's
it
like an
was
hour and a
saying
half.
Hour
because if I
15.
had called once and he had not picked up, like if I called it wrong and he'd not picked up, I wouldn't have called back. I wouldn't have done that.
Why
But
didn't you just send a text?
I wanted to talk,
But like, hey, call me when you.
and I was
Don't
on
worry about it.
Adderall.
All right.
I love Adderall.
I was on Adderall.
Oh, then
So
you could
then
let with
that's
that.
a part of it. I buried the lead. I was on drugs and Adderall. Because I don't want nobody to
It's
clip
a
that and be
drug.
like, this bitch a crackhead. I was on Adderall, and that was a part of it.
Smart drugs, but drugs nonetheless.
Yes, and then one of my boyfriends robbed me one time.
At
Of your
gunpoint?
Adderall?
No,
Oh.
not of my Adderall, not at gunpoint.
Oh.
He just stole it.
So that's a really fucked up because you need that.
He stole from me and disappeared into the wind.
What did he steal?
Oh, okay. I mean, really quick. Too long, didn't read of it all. So I used to be in the theater when I was at unnamed HBCU. And theater...
Morris Brown?
No.
Oh, okay.
You think I'm old enough to have gone to Morris Brown?
Well, I just unnamed and I was like,
No,
ah.
I just didn't want
Okay.
everybody in my business.
Got you.
But I
They'd be
was
like, oh, looking up the theater department in such and such state.
HBCU theater is very like hazy. Like it's very like you're in
Black
there.
schools always got to beat up on somebody.
They haze
Well,
everything.
I was not physically harmed, but like we would be in rehearsal. Like say we go to rehearsal at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, in the evening. You might not get out till midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the
Oh,
morning.
I know the story.
So I asked my boyfriend at the time, who was also in the theater. He just didn't have rehearsal. I was like, hey, can you go get me something to eat? I just got my refund check, so I had cash, hundreds, 50s, 50s, hundreds. All I had was $100. So give him. I said, boom. Can you get me some American Deli? Come back and bring it. He never brings it back. So I'm in the theater like freaking out because I'm like, did he die?
Hungry.
Like what happened? He never
Oh.
showed up. Blah, blah, blah.
Where's my $100?
The too long didn't read of it all is that he took my money and was with another bitch, ended up getting into a domestic squabble with the hoe, and ended up getting locked up, and ended up either he gave my money to her or spent the money on something or whatever the fuck. So I'm calling him all these times back to back to back. I go over to his apartment and his roommates are like big burly ass football player ass niggas. So I have my best friend, I don't have a car at the time, pull up and I'm like, wait out here, I'm going to see what the fuck going on. So we
Rodney?
pull up. Yes, Rodney.
Okay.
So we pull up and the dudes are at the door and they like, he said not to let you in here if you pull up. And I look between these two big beefy ass niggas and there's some unidentified hoes on the couch. And I know y'all girlfriends. So I said, let me tell you something. I said, I know these bitches is not y'all bitches. Y'all can deal with me.
Before I tell Alexis ass.
Or
what the
it's going to
fuck's
be a
going
party
on
up in this motherfucker. And we're going to tear this motherfucker up. Because I know them hoes and I got their numbers. And they slid to the left. And they got the fuck out of my way. So I go in his room and I steal all his left shoes. and all his washcloths and pillowcases. And all his jewelry and everything. And then he eventually ended up calling me back. Because the phone's not working. So I'm going to rob you. Because you robbed me.
Did you get your wings?
Never.
Your $100 at least?
I never got. Bitch,
You never got
I
nothing.
love
but a
Christopher,
bunch
you
of
still
left
owe me wings.
I really
and
love
$100.
American Deli wings.
Really?
I do.
They've gotten
That's back
tiny
when they
over
were
the
still
years.
big.
I like them
Yeah.
when they're small.
I don't like them when they're too small. Now, I haven't had American Deli in a minute, but I don't like them when they're too small. I
Yeah,
want it
they
to
be
at
this
least be the
big.
length of my first finger.
They be
I
quail
don't want it
wings
to be
now.
too big
Is it?
because I'm like, what the fuck is this? And they're never crispy enough when they're giant turkey wings.
I wish we had some wings.
Turkey
Me
wings be
too.
good,
Y'all want to order some wings?
No.
No, because I don't know
We're
where to order
starving
them from.
ourselves
We
at
are
the
far
party.
away
We
from
far
anything
out.
that we
I put
know
my
of.
address on today, and I was like, yeah, you gotta stop eating, buddy.
I hate when I have that realization.
Those are rough times.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's it for I'm Curious to Know. We're going to move on to weird sex really quick, and then we'll get...
You said a man is not a necessity, a man is a luxury. Like dessert. Yeah. A man is absolutely not a necessity. Did you mean that to sound mean and bitter? Oh, not at all. I adore dessert. I love men. I think men are the coolest. But you don't really need them to live.
So I was telling everybody last week that I am just going to be doing a bunch of sex sent me to the ER stories because those are always so fascinating. Because why do y'all be doing this shit that y'all do?
Right.
Last week, somebody was in a zombie run. It really turned her on with her boyfriend. They started fucking in a school bus and she ended up breaking her nose, child. So this, yeah.
What's a zombie run?
It's just think of like a 5K, but then they got zombies popping
Chasing
out
them?
along
I do
the,
love zombies. I'm not gonna lie. I love
thing.
zombie shit.
Would you want to do a zombie run?
No. I don't. I would do a zombie
Is
run,
it
but I
like
don't
a
want to fuck.
haunted house?
Not the
During
fucking
the
part,
run.
just do
Okay.
a zombie.
So they just hired to just come out at certain markers,
Mhm.
and they're not running with you though.
No, they're just trying to chase
So they're
you. I guess
chasing
they're
you.
like, bitch, you gonna finish this motherfucking ride or
Oh,
run,
that's
or you're gonna be a
terrifying.
zombie.
Okay.
Yeah, well, she broke her nose instead. Anyway, so this guy, he had a legless lizard, which
Those exist.
I'm like,
snake?
so I was
snake.
gonna say, it's a legless
It's
lizard,
a
not a snake, but
a
it's
limbless
that.
lizard. It's a thing. A man in 5th grade, like you remember, like the episode That's So Raven when Reptile Man came. Somebody came to my 5th grade and it was like, these are limbless lizards, because you would think snake, but it's like a certain determinant
about
that makes
their
it a
body.
lizard.
You have a very good memory.
I remember everything. It's kind of weird.
Mhm. It's like
Yeah.
you just
It's
probably
weird.
love
It's
lots of random information. You should go on a game show. That's one of the things I want
One
to
of the
do
things
with
I'm
my
doing
life.
for my 30th year is I'm getting my diagnosis. I'm gonna get that autism diagnosis because it's something up
It's so
here.
funny that you said. I recently, one of my girlfriends, she works with autistic kids, and that's part of the process, letting the parents know your child is autistic. And she was telling us like the rundown and the steps and the different things that, because I was like, how do you know if somebody's autistic? Because I'm thinking about my boyfriend, and
It's a spectrum, man. It's a spectrum, and
it's a huge spectrum. It's so huge, and I was like, Lexi, am I autistic?
You might, but
I
yeah,
had
it's a
to ask
spectrum.
myself that
Everybody
too. And
has
then
a
as
spot.
a woman, another dark hole. And see, it was because of all of the holes that the rabbit holes that I go down. I'm like, I know I got ADHD, but I think I got the autism too. And I'm like, oh shit. And a few people have told me that before. And I'm like, man, fuck you. You're trying to be funny. And I don't think it's funny to be using these conditions as like
As a joke.
dig.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is real
But
shit.
the more you look into it, you
might be like,
it'd be something so specific that somebody said, and it's like, oh, can you hear the TV come on? You might be autistic, and I'm like,
My coworker
I can hear
today,
the TV come on.
I
Can
wear,
y'all hear that?
I can, yeah.
Okay.
I wear crew necks to work because like my body temperature is so weird that I will regulate my clothes. I will use my clothing to regulate the temperature somewhere because I don't know how I'm gonna feel. So like I'll go somewhere and I'll get used to being in a place. I'll be like, okay, so it's always cold in here. And I don't like things around my neck. So I've worn a crew neck to work, a crew neck sweatshirt to work every day that I've worked there. And so the receptionist at the job was like, squinting at me, and I was like, And then today we had a very like stressful meeting, and I got like really overwhelmed. So I sat on the floor, crisscross applesauce with my back against the wall, and she 2-finger pointed at me with them long nails, and she said, "You autistic?"
That's some black lady shit.
I said, "Yeah," and she was like, "My nephew autistic. I knew it."
so you are diagnosed.
Gang.
Come on,
Yeah, I ain't
piece
got
up,
mine
A
yet.
count
She
down.
said, "I knew it from the sweatshirts." I said, "Oh."
Like, this little bitch autistic.
Because it was 100 degrees today. She's like, why you got that sweatshirt on? I was like, I'm like, stuff around my neck and I wanted my arms covered. She's like, okay, baby.
It's cold up in here, duh. I don't care if it's 100 degrees outside
At
or
all.
inside.
Yeah.
And they say that women, a lot of times, we won't find out about these things because the signs can be different in women.
Especially black women.
Because they never think anything is wrong with us.
We just bad attitude bitches.
Yeah, we're just angry or whatever. And also the whole masking thing and you
This is so
act a
weird.
certain way in front of people, but it's like that might not be really how you feel.
Because you're just trying to blend in.
Mm-hmm.
Listen.
I just think it's because
get
women are smarter, and that's
diagnosed.
why.
Yeah, I follow Supernova Mama. Shout out to you, Tosh.
Supernova Mama.
And on Twitter, and she found out. So she had 2 babies, and they're both autistic, but they're on different parts of the spectrum. And then her getting her kids diagnosed, got herself diagnosed as an adult. So she learned as an adult that she's been autistic this whole time. She thought she was just strange. And it's been so eye-opening just watching her journey, and over here like, I fucking do
I'm
that.
relating a little too hard.
Yeah, you'd be like, this is very relatable.
Yeah.
One of the things that my girlfriend Lexi was telling me about, this was more so pertaining to ADHD, because she said the 2 can be mixed up.
Yeah.
And she was like, one thing with ADHD is like, if you are very like caught up on time, and like if lateness really bothers you to an extreme, like there might be some room, you might be ADHD. And
Damn.
the way that lateness bothers me, it'll ruin my whole day. I don't play about, if there's something that has to happen at 7 p.m., we need to be here at 6:30.
I used to have anxiety about that so bad, and
I
now
still do.
I'm
I'm
late
working
to everything.
through it.
But I'm the opposite, and which can be true for ADHD too. It's like you, for whatever reason, you end up being really fucking late.
It's time blindness. So
Yeah.
my boyfriend has time blindness. For me, I used to have such bad anxiety about being places on time that I would show up early and then be irritated that I've been here for an hour or an hour and a half.
That's me.
And nobody has been here. So I consciously started being either on time or slightly late to things, because like
I expect everyone else to be late.
Bad about myself because I've been sitting here like a fucking dork for 70 minutes.
Man.
Like a loser. And so now I'm late to everything. It's not
I
even on
can't be
purpose.
late.
I've transitioned into time blindness, trying not to be early and on time to everything.
And I'm a late
The
driver
struggles.
too. So I spent
A late what?
A late driver. I didn't get my car until I was like 21. So
Oh.
But
I
did
had-
you know how to drive, or that's when you learned
I didn't know how to drive. I didn't have a car, nothing
Did
until I
you
was
live
like
in
22.
New York or something?
Were you in a cult?
No, I was just spoiled.
Oh,
Were you in
okay.
a cult?
I'm just a spoiled little brat. So everyone would just drive me places. I wasn't really pressed to learn. And then I just looked up like, damn, I probably need to learn how to drive. In college, granted, Tallahassee is only so small, but like I was always so dependent on everyone else's time. So that when I got my car, I was like, I'm gonna be on time for every fucking thing. I'm gonna start getting dressed. Like, we gotta be here at fucking 8:30. I'm gonna get dressed at 6, and I'm gonna be up the door by 7:12. And I'm like, and then I just be sitting fucking at birthday parties and birthday dinners and
In the
just
parking lot
events,
looking
just,
crazy.
Y'all here yet? Yeah,
I
how
don't
far are
mind.
y'all?
I consider the traffic. I consider everything that could
Everything
go
that could
wrong,
possibly go wrong.
for me to just make sure I'm on time, and it's just like a big deal that
When
I
bitches
just,
started asking me to reserve tables because I was always there early, and they're like, "Oh, find us somewhere to sit. Reserve us tables." I was
Now
like,
you the person.
"You
bitch.
hoes got it backwards." Oh no,
No. The
Now
last
you're
person
lame,
needs to
on
reserve
time,
the table so that you don't fuck up my open table theme, because
Right.
you're showing up. They won't let us be seated. I like to think about, okay, like I know I'd be a little late, but I know who's super late, who might show up an hour later, and then you got to fluctuate and give people different times to try to manage them.
I only do that hour late shit with bitches too many times, like so many times, because like at this point you're an hour
fucking with
late
me.
and you're fucking with.
And then
Me.
if you're gonna be an hour late, you better be the baddest bitch that I ever seen. Your face better be beat, outfit better be hit. Y'all just be
You
late just
better
to
have-
You know
fuck
what's
with me.
funny? My
fine
friend
niggas
who be like an
don't
hour late,
come.
she do
If
show
you're
up
gonna
like
be
the
an hour
baddest
late to
bitch.
my shit, don't
She
come.
does.
Cause I'm
At the
I be
very
having an
least.
attitude.
Yeah.
It's like Mel will tell you I will be late, but it will be some
She
circumstances.
got the worst.
I got the worst.
She's like,
luck.
hey, it's a fucking monkey on my porch that won't let me leave. Hey, a dragon ate my fucking
Today-
left front tire. I can't get to the studio on time.
I left on time today, and literally, like, I know Mel be like, I'm sick of this bitch. I took a picture of the accident. I said, look, it is a wreck. Like, I literally left my house, was gonna be here on time, and it was a wreck on the highway. So like,
Don't you hate when that happens?
well, it was a fucked up wreck, so I hope them people okay.
But it's still
But
going
it
away.
still was like very inconvenient that I was late.
Now,
here
see,
today.
I plan for that. I
have to get
consider
on
all of these
75.
things. So
It's
if
gonna be an
I told
accident.
myself when we record, we don't start till 7:30, but I know I'm gonna get here at 6:30. So I plan for. I'll start checking like the traffic on the
you
apps.
not fucking around.
I'm not playing, and I can't play because it bothers me. My mental will be fucked up. Everything I'm gonna have an attitude, and it's all because shit was late. And so it'll be like, so if I know I need to get here at 6:30, and I know I live on Piedmont, and I need to, it's gonna be, I already know traffic in
It's gonna
Atlanta
be
is
ass,
wild,
yeah.
and somebody had an accident. So
Yeah.
I know that I need to be en route by no later
You
than
need to
5:30.
be in that car.
I think
yeah.
because of what I do for a living as well, and I recently started back working like in my field, and in what I do, we schedule everything by the minute. Like we do these sheets called TikToks where it's like not a moment is wasted. So I think I carry that into my personal life where it's like, I turn my GPS on like while I'm getting ready, and then I don't leave until the thing says you will arrive at whatever the time I'm supposed to be there, because I need all my time. Like I'm filling all of my time doing things, but then shit like that'll happen, or my car won't start, or I'll blown a tire. Like she said, it's a monkey on the porch and I can't get by. And
always
it's
something.
Just always something. So I was just like,
and then I would be
monkey.
like freaking out about being late to stuff, and then I'll be fine. And I'm just like, oh, everything's fine. But the one time I was late to something, I'm still triggered by that. So that's like, you know, I'm about to be early for shit. Like, okay, so I had an internship in New York, and it was a Michael B. Jordan internship. It was a really big deal, and I was really excited. And for the end of the internship, he invited us to Fashion Week to see the Coach show. I was so excited. I get on the train, blah, blah, blah. So have you seen Benjamin Button?
Yeah.
Where like that one scene where like the ballerina broke her ankle, but like had that one thing, had the man not fall across the street, and what? If one of those things didn't happen, it would have been fine. Like I had to stop at the bodega because I didn't have no gum. I don't want my breath to stink in front of Michael B. Jordan. My DoorDash was fucking late. I got an email let me know like the follow-up job I was trying to get. I didn't get it. So I had to take 10 minutes to cry about it. All this shit happened. I've got on the wrong train. All this shit happened to make me like 10, 15 minutes late. And I didn't realize that fucking fashion shows are only like 8 minutes long. Like the New York Fashion Week, you see all the pictures, you think that shit.
It's very short.
It's very short. So me being 10 minutes late, bitch, you missed it. I was in the fucking, you know that big fucking Hudson Yard shit out there in New York? I'm outside like, and I look at the pictures of the other interns. It's like Michael B. Jordan, Kyrie Irving before he went flat earth and shit. So this when he still was like cool and shit. Megan Thee Stallion, and then like the other interns. And I'm just like, God, I'm gonna crash the fuck out. The one time I'm late for something.
I know that was stressful.
It was bad. It was so bad. So that now I'm like, I'm going to be 45 minutes early to whatever the fuck is going on because I can't miss no shit ever again.
Yeah.
That's wild. The legless lizard, I just want to say, this weird sex.
One thing about us, we go on a tangent.
We so sorry.
This weird sex, it's okay because I can relate. I feel like I met my people. This weird sex segment actually is now not sex sent me to the ER, but sex is sending us all to go get diagnosed because I think that everybody has a little bit of sprinkle of one of the A's, either ADHD or autism.
Because how the
or
fuck
maybe
do we
a
get to
double
fucking
whammy.
autism
So
and being
sorry.
late from
And Fashion
lizards?
Week with Michael B. Jordan and Kyrie Irving and the flat Earth and but that
Oh,
I'll just tell
lizards.
you real quick because it's a short one. He let the legless lizard that is not a snake inside of his urethra because he was butt naked outside in an attempt to find his sexual spirit.
I'm
so
sorry.
I think the ADHD and autism conversation was way better.
People are so fucking freaky. Oh
Yes.
my
How
God.
the fuck does a lizard get in your urethra?
Well, you know, there's a penis fish. Did you know that?
I did.
Is it native to Florida?
No,
Oh.
it's
What
What do
native.
you mean
to-
there's a penis
It's
fish?
native to, I believe, the Amazon River. I could be
Of
wrong,
course it is.
or some sort of rainforest. But basically, like, it's attracted to the scent and chemical compounds of urine. So if you go in this particular river and you piss in it, the fish is gonna be like, perfect, a urethra, and it will swim up a dick or it will swim up a coochie, and then it will like barb itself. As I believe, if you're a scientist and I'm saying it wrong, let me know.
Fuck, I
But
can feel it.
it is a spiny, bony fish, and it'll get in there and be like, jigga, 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 and you're
Harlem
gonna
shaking in
die if you
You
leave
know
it in
what?
there.
They need to figure out a way to bottle those things up and put it into all public pools.
There, you know what?
Because people
If you
are
get to
trifling.
peeing and
If
People
it's
are
a public
trifling.
pool, you can get out. There has to be a restroom.
Mm-hmm.
But they
And
got
you
the dye
also
in it
should
now that
shower.
it turns
Do
pink.
y'all pee in the shower?
Well, that too.
I
But
have.
I think that
Yeah.
they're not scared of the dye in the pools. They need that spiny bitch
people
to
aren't
come
afraid of
in.
shame.
Yeah, we gotta.
I will pee in the shower if I'm hammered drunk. Just because like the juice isn't worth the squeeze of me trying to get out the shower.
Get
and I'm
out,
gonna piss on the
re-dry.
floor. So like my best bet if I'm too drunk is to pee in the shower. But then I will know that I have flown too close to the sun, and then I gotta clean the shower, and then it's punishment for myself.
I
so
bleach
like,
it when
try
I'm
not
done.
to.
Sometimes just go with the flow.
I be in there like Soulja Boy with the bleach though. Like if I pee in the shower when I'm drunk, I won't clean it immediately, but I be like, with like the sprays and shit.
And you just let it marinate.
You let it marinate, and then when I'm better, I'll come clean it. Yeah.
I have slipped and fell trying to get out of the shower to go pee when I was drunk, and it's just like,
You
just
coulda
let
just
it
peed.
happen.
You could have just pissed.
You could have just.
And when you
peed.
live by yourself, it's like, who gonna be my ass about peeing in the shower?
Nobody. Just my morning self, maybe. It's like, bitch,
I
why
know
the fuck
niggas
did
go
you do
see
that?
this clip and be like, them hoes nasty.
No, they can't wait.
Ain't you a shit bitch?
While
You shit
y'all
man,
ain't
bitch.
married, okay?
You modern females. All right.
All y'all wanted
Okay.
somebody to pay for shit. We weren't even talking about that, sir. We peeing in
Bye,
the shower.
Cleotis. Leave us alone.
Cleotis is crazy.
Peeing in the shower. Speaking of men, do you guys think a man? You know how sometimes women can get get labeled as you've been ran through. Do you think a man can be labeled that? Would you ever not date a man because too many bitches had sex with him? Let's say he checks all your boxes.
You go first, Mel, because I have opinions.
Okay, there are different contexts ran through. Are we talking about ran through just like our social circle in general? Are you Wilt Chamberlain? And then like, what are the benefits? You ran through, say for instance, my nigga lives in a different city. And if I walk through this
What
fucking
city?
Detroit, if I walk through this fucking day party and every bitch, all right, now, goddamn it, now how many hoes in here you done fuck? Just let me know so I can just know. How many? What are we talking about? How ran
Let's
through?
say he was like 5.
Like, can they all fit in a Sprinter?
Right? Can we? What vehicle is it? An Uber? Is it an Uber XL? How many hoes in this?
Does somebody have
A
to sit on
school
somebody's
bus.
lap?
This
Like,
city, right? Charter bus. What are we talking about? Amtrak.
Let's say you're at brunch and there's 5 girls there that he has.
at a singular brunch?
At a
and one
singular
brunch. It's mixy. Are these hoes gonna try to fight me? Like, are they just gonna look and whisper with their friends? They gonna mumble and cackle about the queen? That's fine. Like, what? It just depends on like the stakes of it. Like, oh, I was a slut in undergrad. Like, whatever. These hoes ain't shit. Whatever. Are the hoes bothering me? Like, oh my god, y'all so cute. Bitch, get out my face. Like,
Oh,
it's
that's
just
the
different.
worst.
I hate it. Y'all so cute ass bitch. You've had his dick in and around your mouth, even if it was 2012. Get out my face.
Get out my face.
So it's just different stakes. And then like, what are the benefits? Do you have money?
Let's say he does have money.
I don't get.
Are you-
when with my dollar bills? When he's a slut.
Or are you still fucking them? That's a very important question. If it's
That's
like,
probably the most important. Are
that's
you
probably
still
the most
fucking these
important. Are you
people?
still
I
fucking?
think-
What
oh,
would
sorry.
you consider ran through? Like, because for a woman, I feel like a man would be like, I don't want to, I'll still fuck you, but I don't want to be in a relationship with you if you've been
You
too
could
ran
fuck one of his
through.
line brothers 8 years ago.
We
and
all
you
know
ran
too
through.
much about each other.
Yeah.
That's the thing. First of all, because I think all men are sluts. I was raised
Absolutely.
by a hellified, bona fide hoe. I was born in the darkness. My goddamn daddy, God bless his soul, is a whore. So I've seen it all. I have seen my dad leave one bitch house to go to the next bitch house. I have seen my dad drop me off at one of his hoes' house to leave me there with her and her daughter and then go to another hoe house and come back and get me in the morning. So these niggas don't surprise me. I like sluts. They're fun to me. But they gotta be friendly. I like when I talk to a bitch and she's like, had my man, and she's like, he is a wonder. He is just such a kind, sweet person, that whore of yours.
Very rare.
That is what I like. But if you've been out here ruining bitches' lives with your
That's the
ran-throughness,
important.
then me and you we can't function together. But like, okay.
As long
you
as
a
there's a
hoe,
mutual respect
it's
with the
fine.
hoes that are in your vicinity. Also, like when you if you walk into a party with a nigga, this is very important.
Mhm.
Do you know the DJ? Do the other men in here respect you? Do
Yes.
the hoes respect you and thus respect me?
Yeah.
What environment
What's
have you
going
put me
on?
in with all these hoes?
Yes.
Did you fuck, that bitch and that bitch and that bitch? Whatever time period was, you're not fucking her no more. They not come over here bothering me, coming to me as a woman. Oh, you used to.
It's so
So
wild
it's
how
really
different.
no number then.
It's
It's just
because I don't-
situational.
It just doesn't
Yeah.
bother me.
And it's just so interesting because for men, I feel like for most men, that whole you go into the club setting and if the woman knows the DJ, if the woman knows the promoter,
The
and
dude
who
just
was
did that
at the
skit about
door,
this.
It's a whole.
It's a problem.
It's like the
How you
man is
know
almost
him?
embarrassed. Like what? So you just fucked everybody? No, nigga, I used to work in the club.
But
I
that's
know
the
these
thing. I
people.
don't want to date a man where that is a conversation because, like,
Yes.
I know people because I'm funny and I've been places and I
interesting.
have put on events with people and I've worked in a number of places and I went to school. Like, if we got to chat about what I was possibly doing with my pussy in 2016, me and you are not the people for each other.
Yeah.
I
Damn
do
near
hate
10
when
years
when
ago.
niggas like got dick too good, and like the hoes can't let go, because one of my niggas, old hoes, tried to book me for braids to be funny when I was braiding hair. She tried to come sit up in my home, and it's like, bitch, it was finna be welcome to the Thunderdome, bitch. We was finna get to knucking in this hoe. And I didn't, because like this person kept booking braids with me and then unbooking and then booking again. I'm like, I'm about to block this person.
Now I gotta
and
have
it
a
was
long
booking
list
for
of
a cheap
rules.
ass appointment. So I'm like, you booking the cheapest appointment over and over again. You really are trying to come fight me. Come to find out, you're
Oh my
booking me because
God.
you got pressure with me about a nigga who don't fuck you no more. That's crazy.
That is
And then
crazy.
that's when that becomes a
Why
problem.
you gotta be in
Why
it?
the fuck am I in it?
Why am I in it? Why am I in it?
I don't even know you.
But I like my niggas a little slutty. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah, honestly, and then if you
I like
date,
my bitches slutty too, if we gonna get into it.
if you fuck a certain
It's
type
more
of
fun
dude
that
and
way.
fuck with a certain type of dude, he's a slut. And their standards are different. All you gotta do is fuck one. You fuck this nigga, you fuck a nigga I see at brunch every other week. Now you a hoe.
Because he's basically my brother, because I see him
'Cause
sometimes.
we play basketball at the
At
fucking LA Fitness.
Yeah.
Now,
I cannot
that's
stand
bro.
when people have them fake brothers and fake.
You don't
this
even
is
know
not
these people.
exactly. You don't know his last name. You call him by a nickname. His
Oh,
name
you
is
fuck
TJ.
you fuck bro? You don't know him.
And bro fucked me. I wasn't there by myself.
You feel betrayed by bro.
He fucked me too. I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's
like
two
those
people
conversations,
there.
like
It
bro.
wasn't when I was fucking you. So,
I didn't even know you existed.
what do you think, Medina,
Yes.
What?
about your question?
I done forgot the question. What was the question? What
You
was
said, do you
it?
think a man can be considered ran through, and is that
Yeah.
a factor for you? Like,
Oh,
when
yeah,
considering?
yeah.
Yeah.
And what's the parameters for it for you?
For me, it's just like, again, the I don't want to ever. I don't like dramatics. So
I
if,
hate
if-
drama, yeah.
yeah. Like if it's gonna be somebody is trying to find me or booking braid appointments, doing something crazy. Like I just feel like at the end of the day, we've all been whorish.
Mm-hmm.
I'm including myself in that situation. And I don't even bring stuff like that up. Now, if I do want to talk about something or ask you about something, I remember one time me and my man were somewhere at a party, and the way that this woman ran up and like jumped on him to hug him, I'm not one of those people where it's like, if you ask me about, we are in a situation, you have a question about it, I am totally okay with that because I'm like that.
Yeah.
I had to take a deep
Who is
breath.
this?
Yeah, like who, what? And it was like he was like, oh, she was like my Spellman sister. And
It's always the
It's the
fucking
goddamn
Spellman
Spellman
sisters.
And I was just like, I was real uncomfortable with it. And I was like, call me insecure, call me what you want. I'm human. I didn't like it. And I
Yeah.
had
If
to.
I am being insecure, what now? What's
We
next?
all got insecurities.
You
and
leaving?
different things.
What
What
you
you
gonna
gonna do
insecure?
to
What you
secure
gonna-
me in this
Fix my
situation?
insecurity,
But
bitch.
bitches will do not here come the misogyny jumping out. Bitches no, but like but bitches will do shit like that to be funny. And it's just like
Hey, I'm
and
the
it's not
wrong
funny.
bitch to do it with because now we're all gonna be embarrassed.
Oh, I love uncomfortability.
I
remember-
love it.
I went same bitch that I was just talking about with the braids, right? So we went to his. I'm telling all his business. He gonna be so mad. I don't care. We went to his homecoming, like tailgate or whatever, with his friends, and like she was out there, and she was making such a show. Mind you, I know everything. She's making such a show of like, do you have a drink? Like, you know, can I get you something to
Hey,
eat?
sis.
Like,
I cannot stand an
I don't-
overly helpful bitch.
and I don't
because
play stuff like that.
So
Because
you're being
I kept
funny.
going like, I'm good, like I'm straight, like I'm good. And so he's over there smoking, and she makes her way over to the rotation. And I'm like, I'm already feeling fiery in my blood because y'all are just meeting me. I have a temper. So I'm like, I'm already texting him like, let's go, but he's not checking his phone.
she's trying.
He tells a joke. He's funny. He's not that goddamn funny. And she uproars from her diaphragm, leans back and smacks him on the arm and like does a grab and shake of his bicep. So I text him, I said, laugh a motherfucking again. And I'm gonna knock y'all fucking heads together like coconuts in front of everybody. It's finna get real fucking weird out here because this hoe being weird, fix it. Let's go.
And see, I wouldn't have, I'm not going to say I'll knock your heads like coconuts, but I have to address it out loud so that everyone knows Medina's not playing. Why are you laughing so hard at the joke? And is there something I need to know that's going on between you two?
Did I miss some
tell me
context?
And
I
now
hear it. Say it
the
again.
party's over. Everyone's
Yeah.
don't
Oh,
put
you're
me.
doing too much. Oh, now I'm doing too much.
Right.
what the fuck was all this hee hee ha ha guffawing going on?
Yeah. Good fun.
Because why is your head back in the middle of a
when
laugh
I said
and he's telling dad jokes?
She cocked her head back so like, cause like me, I like
I
to
can
lay it.
picture
I
it.
like to lay it on thick for the niggas. So I'm like that too. Like if I'm trying to laugh somebody out their
Damn.
draws, I'm a chuckle, hee hee. So I'm like, bitch, you trying to be funny. And then she had like kind of bumped into me earlier, like when she was bringing me my drink. And it didn't seem like she did it on purpose, but in context now it does. She kind of spilled the drink on me and then made a big show of like trying to get me napkins. And I'm just like, ho, why is you here?
That's very disrespectful.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Bridgerton.
Hoes is weird, man. Y'all just reminded me. When I tell you I be burying shit in my brain, because we was at this pool party and we're leaving, and this other girl like had one of his homeboys shit in her car. Yes. Yep. And as we're leaving, I'm in the front seat. He's driving. His two homeboys in the back. Whatever. Did he get his shit? Get in the back seat. We Kiki and she's standing at the window. And I'm just like, hello. It just be bitches. Like I just don't know who I'm introduced to. Hi, how you doing? Hi. And then all the light skinned girls be looking alike sometimes. So I'll just be like, I don't know. I don't know who this damn girl is. So she's talking. She's like, girl, I'm so proud of you. I follow you, do all this, blah, blah, blah. She's spending all my compliments to me. And I'm just like, thank you, girl. You are so kind. Thank you. I'm just like, why is she still fucking going? Like, what's going on? So she just like, girl, you are just so funny. Like, Dwayne, don't fuck this up. Blah, blah. I'm just like, when
they start saying shit like that, because that's the woman
you got a good one.
This
is so blah, blah. I'm just like, okay, like, thanks, girl.
Now I gotta watch you.
So his homie in the back, like, all right, move them feet. Like, get the fuck off. He's like, move the feet before they get ran over. So I'm just like, what the fuck is happening right now? So I'm just like, okay, we pull off. And it's quiet. So I was just like,
who the fuck is
this?
Who's
that? Who's that? This nigga saying, oh, that's my ex-girlfriend.
Why did you let her sit
you
here and cackle in my
could hear a
face?
pin drop. His friends were so fucking scared. I went off, and I'm a very calm young lady. Like, I'm not calm in general, but like, I'm not an angry person. Like, so like, I get it from, so I'm just like going like, so you thought, he was just like, how am I supposed to, I've introduced you. I was like, I don't know who, she looked like every bitch in the fucking party. I don't know who the fuck this. I was so mad because now his friends are scared because now I'm scaring the hoes in the back seat. Because like, why the
them
fuck
niggas deserve? I've met them. They should be scared.
They
deserve to be scared.
Why the fuck would you have me being nice to bitches? Not that like I gotta be rude to her just because she.
So how would you have wanted him to handle it? Because I also
Honestly,
do understand
know,
uncomfortable situations.
Something I don't know if he could have just Morse coded some shit like. He said he thought I knew who it was.
Why would you know that?
Not even that.
Because he said he introduced us before. And I'm just like, I don't remember.
Get your fucking hoes in line, bro. Because me, how I feel, I'm very futury about it all. All my hoes are still my hoes to the day I motherfucking die. So when they around my new bitches, it's my responsibility to make sure they don't upset the one that I currently fucking love.
You over here kissing the ring
You knew
and
this
shit.
bitch was going to be here. You should have shot her a little nudge. Act fucking right, hoe, while my bitch around. I'm sorry. Because listen, I have been to a wedding with a man that I love. I was in a wedding with like 3 niggas that I fucked. And my nigga was my date. Asked me if some shit popped off. Nope. Because I told them niggas, I will fucking put y'all in a sack and shake y'all up like cats. If y'all embarrass me in front of my current nigga. Because I love him.
Have class.
Have some fucking coke whore. Clean it up.
I like the man whores who do have all of the women in line. Everybody either is, I don't know if they're scared or if they just have enough respect or they truly did understand what the situation was where nobody's going to be cutting up like that when you run into somebody else.
And
Shut up.
It's just weird. Like, I don't even know if she was trying to be, I don't think she was trying to be weird. She was being weird as fuck. I don't know if she was trying to be like nasty, but she was being fucking weird because like, what do you want?
Whatever it is.
Like I just don't know why people don't know how to act. I
don't know how I wanted him to have handled it because there's really no right or wrong. Like,
I think that if it's like an ex situation, did you know?
It was like his like. It was like an early, like an old ex.
Because I'm not mad if we just run into an ex, but I do
we outside.
Want
her coming up to the car is crazy.
Coming up to the car is crazy, and I'm one of those people where it's like, let's just address the elephant in the room. So if I was in the situation, I would be like to the ex, this is my boyfriend, and this is such like making sure that you feel honored in this situation. And then as soon as they walk away, I'm be like, that was my ex. Remember I told you about it. That was weird for me too.
Yeah, but she knew everything about me. And that's what made it so
That's why I'm saying she was being weird because what I think, because like for me,
like a weird fangirl kind of.
I'm currently in a relationship, but if a bitch is with a nigga that I still want, I might pee in a circle around that nigga just to let you know, like, I'm still funny, I'm still around, I still hang around with, if I'm doing that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still accepted in the social circles, I'm here, foot down. And I think that's what bitches be trying to do, like, letting you know, like, it's not bad blood between me and him. If I wanted to pop back up and pop out, I could. And that shit is just so nasty to me. Because, like, Take your leave. Go. Like, please.
And I think at the end of the day, it's just niggas. It's just this. Like,
It's just niggas.
It's just niggas. What the fuck do you want from me? We at the fucking pool party. Let's get them slip and slide. What's going on? So yeah, that was just weird. I don't like, but bitches be weird, man. Like, it's just always.
And sometimes I'm bitches.
And sometimes I am bitches. I have kind of like.
What did you do when you was kind of on the other side?
When
of
I
that?
was young, back in my younger days.
Of course,
what was it? Sometimes like the niggas would be more weird than me. It's like, I'm not even trying to be weird with your bitch, but you're being weird with your bitch. Don't stop being weird with your bitch. Like it'll be them doggone Morehouse men's. I was at the redacted fraternities and I'm making my rounds, whatever. He see me. I'm just like, oh, hey, what's up? Redacted. Cool. He's like, oh, my girl here. So like, yeah, I'm gonna introduce y'all. Don't what? No. Hi, how you doing? Like it was just like, why the fuck you introduced? Your tongue has been in my butthole. Why are we being introduced?
Yeah.
Life is wild.
Life is so. Why are you introducing me to this young lady? I don't want to meet her.
But
That is
sometimes
very
I've like
awkward.
been with like I've done some awful things in my day. So like I can kind of talk from both perspectives of this. And there's been situations where like I'm aware that like I might have been fucking a nigga first and then he got with you and I decided that the relationship part of it is not something I want, but I want to keep fucking him. Come pry him from my cold, dead fucking hands. Come fight me about this, bitch. I hope you're ready to die about that dick. Just like straight up, because you can't be my ass about it. What you gonna do?
See, I think that's different. I'm not a fighter, so I'm not really ready to die about no
I feel
dick.
like that now because I'm grown, but like in my younger days, come get your bitch off my porch. Like for real, like come
get
collect
him.
this nigga if you want him that bad. But you being mean to me about it, wham, on the dick.
She's horrified.
What?
Damn.
But I'm better now because I've been through things
Growth.
where I'm like
We're
crying
grown
and
up.
sliding down the wall because a bitch has done that to me. So once you meet a bitch with bigger balls than you like, oh,
You
shit
get a little
ain't fun no more,
humble,
is it? It
check
ain't fun when the
yourself.
rabbit got the gun.
gun.
So
Right.
I've
And that's what
stopped.
life is about because it will humble you. You over here with people niggas.
Oh, okay.
Life said, oh, bad. Okay.
I got my payback tenfold with that shit, with that nigga. I had a man
Oh
who
my
I
God.
thought was my own.
Oh my
Damn.
God.
And every now and then I got a feeling he was like dating another bitch. It was long distance. And I know niggas be lying. And see, what I do when niggas lie, I just let them lie so I learn your lie patterns. Like little lies, I let rock out because I need to know how you lie, when you lie, under what circumstances you get nervous enough to lie. So I
Build
peep
your
you
case.
out. Build your case.
Evidence.
Melanie
No,
was...
why am I? It honestly
It
was
was
just
TV.
It was ordained by God for me to be exactly where I was. I'm out. I was with two of my coworkers. We were all in LA at the same time. Like one of my coworkers lived there. Another was just a white girl. Another black girl. She was just in there with her nigga for that weekend because he had a work trip. I was there for like some other work shit. So we were like, let's go get drinks. Oh my God. So we're all talking about guys, and she complained about hers. I'm complaining about mine. Like, oh, niggas ain't shit, whatever. Well, we not saying niggas because we with white girls. So we try to make her comfortable. So we're just like, yeah, guys are trash or whatever. But no, we're having a good time. And I'm just like, girl, I've been through so much. I don't even want to say it like that, but just like, oh, like I'm going through my dude right now. Like we working things out. Like I'm trying to just take some time to like figure shit out. Like, girl, I get it, whatever. And she's like saying like, I feel like my nigga on some bullshit, but I can't prove it, whatever. And then like, I get it. And then like my white homegirl, she was talking like about like, yeah,
About
guys
Trevor.
kind of suck. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, they do, friend. So we're just whatever. So we continue the night. We're drinking and she's talking about, yeah, because with Redacted, she said his name. And it's a very specific, name. Ain't too many black boys named like Frazier or whatever the fuck. So she's like, yeah, so Frazier. I said,
Connor.
I'm sorry.
What's his
What did
last
you say his
name?
name was? And I look at my friend and she looks like Talley. So I'm like, this nigga got a type. And I say, is he about yay how this skin tone, went to this college, this fraternity, this? She's like, yes. I said, she's like, what? I'm
Mind
like,
you, this nigga had just been at my home.
it was the craziest shit. Like I felt my heart drop because I'm just like,
My living room still smelled like
it
this
was
nigga.
crazy. So she was like, just tell me. And I was just like, he was in a full-on relationship with my friend from this time to this time. Times overlapped. So it had to be the
tag me
time.
in.
I had to FaceTime her. Mind you, I'm on the West Coast. It's late at home.
I am high off my fucking rocker at my house in my muumuu.
Mind your business.
When I say there's joy on and in my heart, I'm high. I have pizza rolls and Fruity Pebbles, and I'm watching Abbott Elementary, and I'm having a blast. So usually, like when Mel FaceTimes me out of the blue, it's either something about the podcast or it's tea. right? Like it's something messy. So she FaceTimes me, and the way she wasn't intentionally doing it, it's just how she talks. So the way she's like, girl, I'm out and I'm with my coworkers, and I'm like, oh bitch, who is this about? Like, I can't fucking wait. And she's talking, and as she's explaining it, I'm having the euphoria moment where she's like, bitch, is this fucking play about us? So I have never gotten so unhigh in my life.
It was crazy.
She hands the phone to the girl is sobbing.
That's the worst.
And it was probably one of the most traumatic things for me, like as a friend, because like I'm like, oh girl, I see your nigga out. You know what I'm saying? I'm that kind of friend. But like this was like, bitch, I feel like I was had to tell somebody
and he
died.
told me I wanted to go. Like I knew that he was going to LA. He's like, well, isn't God gonna be that? Like I'm gonna go be busy the whole time. Like, so it's just not even gonna be like you can have a good time. So he's there with her. The long story short of it all is I wanted to die. So like there was a situation and then I'm still here. So I didn't. And after I got over like the wanting to die of it all, I was like, okay, now I'm mad. So I put on TikTok his picture and my picture from like a hike we went on and like lovey-dovey pictures. I'm like, let's play whose nigga is this? Because he's been traversing the coast with people. And I'm not even mad at the girl. I'm not even mad
She
at her.
didn't do nothing.
Yeah, she didn't even do nothing, but I said, whose
She
nigga
didn't
is
know.
this? Because if you were with him between this time and this time, he was sucking me like an oxtail
And
ball.
every big titty
And-
bitch on the fucking East Coast
and
was
every
like,
brown skin, my height, looked like me,
Yes.
cheekbones. It was not, and I'm not exaggerating, 9 bitches. A girl sent me a Cash App request and was like, I need to talk to you now.
and they all looked
And
alike.
it was a podcast listener was one of the girls.
Oh my god!
Oh.
I had not very similar, but I thought he was my man. That's the only similarity of our
Well, he
stories.
wasn't my man at the time, but he was my man at the time that he was dating
Well,
all
this
these
man,
other
I
bitches.
thought he was my man,
Yes.
and he wasn't. And it was a really dramatic. We called him 6'8" Bay on this show, and he did me really dirty. There was a whole other bitch that she thought he was her man too, and he was doing the same exact dates for both of us in Dallas for her and in Atlanta for me.
no.
But what ended up happening was my friends found the girl, and a year later when I was really over, because I thought I was gonna die too,
Mhm.
but I didn't. And
Gang.
then I contacted the girl because I finally just wanted. There were so many missing pieces to the puzzle that only she could answer. And what we did was, if you're on Patreon, I was like, "Do you mind recording? Can we make this a bonus content for my podcast?" And we made it a bonus episode.
When the girl found out, and she's a sweetheart, like no shade to her at all, but I think it was so shocking for her that she just didn't like want to believe it. So like I told her, because he was out doing something for work, I said, when you get back to that hotel room, FaceTime me. I said, don't say anything to him, just FaceTime me. Didn't listen. So she's texting me like, he says you're crazy. He says you're
That
a liar.
was not the fucking
I said, "That wasn't
plan."
what you
She didn't FaceTime because she knew she was gonna stay a little longer.
Yeah, no, I believe she did. But anyway.
But when you dealing with a liar to that level, you can't give him no time to like.
She
build
should
his
have
case.
followed your plan.
I mean, I also, I'm a woman too. I understand why you didn't, because sometimes you're
She's like, I just met you.
I just
this
met
is my
you.
nigga.
This is
I
my
wanna
nigga.
talk.
I'm gonna err on the side. I just don't trust men. So I'm never, if a bitch come to me and tell me she been fucking my nigga, yup, I believe you. I'm never gonna be like, he would never. He would actually fucking always.
He'd do anything.
So
Yeah, you just never know.
So you just never know. But it was just like so embarrassing because I had done something awful to another woman in my earlier years. So I was like, this is just my comeuppance. This is what was supposed to happen, because otherwise I was just maybe later in my life I would have done it again had this horrible situation
But you
happened
sit
to
your
me.
ass down,
But I
nigga.
sat my ass the fuck down, and I'm never doing it. I had never been so hurt in all my goddamn days. I had to go back to text messages to like 2017 and 2018 and be like, this nigga loves me.
I did this.
Me and other bitches had the same nudes. And like the same nudes
Damn.
with the same timestamp on the same day. Like the metadata was the same.
That's
One of the
crazy.
girls said she was gonna rob him. I hope she did. She said she was gonna ask. she said she was gonna ask him to borrow $3,000 and then block him. So, girl, I hope you did that. But it was just like, this is the worst nigga. This nigga, I be saying his name on public platforms like a warning. Like if you run into this, I'm not gonna say it here, but if you run into this nigga, like
where does he live?
I don't fucking know. I hope he died.
Or at the time?
But at the time he went to school here. He was living in Brooklyn, and then he went home to Virginia during the pandemic to stay.
So
with
the
his
East Coast is just
people.
not safe.
The East Coast is not safe. I don't know where
At
that
all.
bitch is now. He was supposed to have moved to Seattle, but that probably could have been a lie. He probably got a secret family. So I
You
don't
just
know.
never know.
And
That
when I
is
say he
so
looks sugar
crazy.
sweet, if you look at him, it's like this fucking dork was ruining people's lives.
Hiding
Looks
in
don't
plain
have nothing
sight.
to do with it.
Mhm.
That's absolutely
And
wild.
I didn't tell you, she reached out to me too because the new bitch didn't believe her.
It's just it's like all it's
can't
just
be in
the
this.
it's this nigga look. I can't even get my words together. These niggas leave just like a trail of just
trail of
tears.
shit.
Just,
So
Yes.
while we are
Melanie, you're not gonna drink this.
you know I'm not fucking.
Okay, well,
drinking
I'm
the
gonna
whole
take
thing.
it.
Okay. I have been sipping it slowly. You can pour some in yours. I have been.
Okay.
So while we are on like the, talking about the men and their crazy antics, I saw a meme on Instagram, and we'll just talk about this really quickly and then move on to Indecisive Diane and advice. But I saw a meme, and it was just like, I think it was on the Justin, is it Just LaBoy or Justin LaBoy?
LaBoy, I think it's
Justin LaBoy.
Whichever
LaBoy.
one it is. He posted, what are some signs that a man is broke? And so I was like, oh, we're doing girl talk. Let's ask the girls. What do you guys think some signs are that a man is broke? And while you're thinking about it, I'm going to pull up the comment section of that post because it was fucking hilarious.
they've gotten good at hiding it, and you don't be finding out they broke till it's too late these days.
I've learned that like some of these all day dates that we romanticize, where it's like, oh, you've been out with a nigga till 2 o'clock in the morning. He's waiting on his direct deposit to drop. I have learned that sometimes a nigga is out with you and don't want to go home because he's waiting on that check to clear. So he came out with you with like $1.07. And now you just got to stay out till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning because he ain't got no money. So that I have learned.
I think like
Because I'm like, I want to go home.
Triggers. Like if you ask like, oh, let's go see Bad Boys. He's like, no. I'm like, oh. Shit. No.
What Will Smith and Martin Lawrence do to you, nigga? Damn. I think brokenness has different levels to it too.
It's different kinds of brokenness.
It's certain. If a nigga carries himself broke, I'm never looking your way. So I wouldn't know about a particular kind of like dusty ass broke nigga because I'm just never going over there. Nothing over there is for me. And then I think also what we consider broke now in like the like, and I love it, but like in this city girl, like niggas should have money and cash out on you era, like broke means different thing. Because to some bitches, a nigga having a 9-to-5 down to the Georgia Pacific building is broke.
Right.
Which might not mean that for the next woman. So I think that's also that. But like if you are like always cash poor, like sometimes I understand like you gotta wait on your next direct deposit because I be doing that too and I be making bread. It's just like I be spending it wrong sometimes. So sometimes we might have to stay at this nasty little our shoes stick to the floor dive bar because I've done that when I've taken women on dates until I get my money. I thought the money was gonna hit at 6 p.m. It didn't. So here we are. But I also have learned that like when niggas start being mean for no reason and you've done nothing wrong, they're picking fights so they don't have to spend money on you. Because dads do it too. My dad used to do that when he ain't had no money. My dad was good for canceling Christmas. And that's just because he ain't have
so bad.
Why is it one fork in the sink? No Christmas, bitch. And he would throw the Christmas tree down the stairs back in the basement. Oh, so
I know a sign for me, and this is like I'm not one of those women where it's like you need to be cashing out and buying Birkins. I'm just not like that.
Yeah.
That doesn't represent anything because he could be a scammer and still be broke
and go to jail.
And go to jail. And now
and then they take the Birkin.
Yeah. So to each their own, but that doesn't represent anything for me. But one time I remember I give niggas chances. I do. I try to like see the best in you. And so there was one time I went on a date with a guy and I really did like him and he was cool. And we went on a date and he laughed too hard and his side tooth was gone. And I just know that there is certain, like when this isn't together, I automatically just be like, you don't have it to get it. Because why would you be walking around with this like this? You don't
and it's
have
always
it.
that
I think it's a priority issue though. Because for me, like if you're spending money, because I've had dudes that have had particular dental issues. It's not a side tooth thing. I just can't look at that. I'm too funny. I'm gonna make you laugh too much, and I'm gonna just be looking at it. But I've had dudes that have had like glaring issues that like the amount of money you spent on me in the last month, you could have fixed that. So you have priority issues, which means you're no husband of mine. Because when we have kids and shit, they gonna have a Prada book bag, and they ain't gonna have no damn braces.
They got silver teeth.
You ain't got no motherfucking silver.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's less broke and you just can't prioritize.
But even still, that plays a part into the brokenness because it's like, this is the type of stuff that I be talking about on the show where it's like women get into situations with men who, if the side tooth isn't the thing for you, but there's other things that represent like this person is not a responsible adult.
Yeah.
This probably won't be someone that is going to take care of you in any type of way. Emotionally.
If he can't take care of that side tooth,
because that's something that's for him.
Or address
that's
the
your
side
own
tooth.
mouth.
If you don't, if you come to me with a missing side tooth and you're like, listen, there's lore behind the side tooth. I lost it and I got comfortable with how my face looks. It's not a health issue.
I
I'm
realize
fine with
this
it.
is
I don't
a problem.
care to replace it. It's just not on my list right now because I like the way that I look.
tried it, got
I'm
infected.
comfortable with me. I'm scared of dental surgery. They said I wasn't gonna die. I'm fine. That's different. But you just gotta
letting it rock out on the side of
you
your
just got
face?
an unexplained missing side tooth. Because that's the first thing I'm saying on a date. Look, before I get to laughing, this gone. It's out of here.
Wait,
So,
what?
you know what I'm saying? Like that would be
The
me.
teeth.
If I
The
was missing a
tooth
side
gone.
tooth,
She's
that's the
done.
first thing out of
You
my
gotta
mouth.
address it.
Because like I have wonky body things that I'm like, hey man, it's like $12,000 for me to get this fixed. I ain't.
Yeah.
You still here? Like we
Cool,
good?
great.
We cool, great.
Because then, like, when you with other people, then they looking at the side tooth, and that was the whole thing. Like, Mel, nigga ain't got no side tooth. Like, now, oh my God. Like,
and if I get into an argument with a bitch and the first thing out her mouth
Your
is
nigga ain't got no
"Your nigga
side
ain't even got
tooth. You worry
side
about me?"
tooth," oh, I'm gonna lose it.
Yeah, because what do you even say
what do
to
you
that?
say?
Nothing.
Oh, speaking of broke on dates, I had a dude Cash App request me on a date. That
Excuse
was fun.
me?
That's
for your portion of dinner?
of a hookah
Oh,
bitch.
he didn't even feed me. What? So, okay, this is
What's
young.
his name?
This is
Christopher?
No.
Okay.
It's always an evil ass Christopher, the scene of the crime.
Yes.
But no, this is 2017, pre-City Girls. I was young. I was like 23. So we out, and this is when I was trying to do comedy. So I was like scouting comedy shows. They would be free. I would find them on Eventbrite. Like he was like, oh, we went out one day. He was like, hey, you want to go out tonight? Like I was like, yeah, we can do something. Like we mutually agreed to do something. He didn't like outright ask me. I guess we want to argue semantics. So he was like, what you want to do? I was like, oh, I got, I put 2 people for this comedy show on Eventbrite. So we go. It's free in Sandy Springs. Free. So we go to this free comedy show. It's at a restaurant. It's at a Jamaican restaurant. So we sitting there at the bar. Chef Rob's. It's at Chef Rob's. So we was at Chef Rob's. This is like early Chef Rob's days. And we sitting at the bar. And, again, Caribbean food. So it's like oxtails. Like the cartoons when the smoke got the little fingers and shit. And it's like, so I was just like, sure would love to eat. Nothing. So I'm just like, got it. So he was like, oh, you want to split a hookah? So I'm like, sure. Again, I'm young. I just got a relationship that made sense. So I'm like, there's no way he means anything other than we're sharing a hookah. But I was like, weird word choice, but sure. So we get a hookah. Again, empty stomach. Hookah, laugh, ha ha ha, hookah, boom. The check comes. Again, I'm used to being in a relationship. When the check comes, I go to the bathroom. That's none of my fucking business. I leave my phone and everything. I go pee real quick, come back. We still laughing. He doesn't acknowledge anything. We still chilling, whatever. I pick my phone up. I get the little Cash App text and it says such and such request $15 from you.
$15?
$15.
$15. Like if you don't request, but don't ask for no funky ass $15. So again, he still never verbally addresses that he just sent me a Cash App request. Like if you got with your friends, like, hey, we went and got drinks, send me the Cash App for the $1. So I'm like, okay, he knows.
Had y'all had sex?
No.
Okay.
So
Thank
we
goodness.
sitting there, I'm just like, he never said shit about it. We walk to the car or whatever. And he's like, leaning over my car, like, yeah, so, you going to drive all the way to the east side? Like, why don't you just come to my house? You just Cash App requested me for $15 fucking dollars.
And didn't even say shit
And
about
didn't say nothing about it and just whatever. So I was like, no, I'm just going to hop back on 285, friend, bye. The next day, he was like, yeah, so I was like, I just think it's funny how you Cash App requested for $50. Oh, my car got a boot this week and I've been going through. It's $15 fucking dollars.
And you shouldn't have gone anywhere with me.
And you had
You
it
could've
if you
just
paid it
said no.
already.
$15.
What is $15 gonna do?
I feel like it was even more disrespectful. Just ask for the whole 25, bro. $15 fucking dollars.
He asked you for more
And
than
why
his
you
share?
gotta pay
No, I'm
more
just
than
saying,
half?
like, if you gonna ask me, it's a $40 hookah and you ask me for $15, just don't disrespect. Like, for $15.
And see, that's the thing. Like, in my experience of dating women, because I'm usually like the person asking a person out on a date, we all fly too close to the sun and fall short of the glory of God. Okay, we all go and overspend. I understand that. I'd literally rather die than ask a woman that I took somewhere for any money.
And then to still ask for pussy afterwards
is
crazy.
bananas.
Why would I give you some pussy after this?
But see, that's what I'll be talking about. Sometimes when it's like when women encounter men like that, we always save them. Like it's not addressed right then and there. Like, hey,
Who's
did
saving?
you mean to send me? Well, what I'm saying is like even with this story, it's like sitting right there, there was something in you that didn't feel comfortable just addressing it right there.
Right.
You don't want to talk about it, but I do want to talk about it. Because don't you dare have the audacity to now try to get up in between my thighs.
Yeah.
Why'd you send me this Cash App? It don't even have to be rude. Like, what's going on?
What's happening
What's
here?
all this then?
Just so that you can, as an adult, verbally tell me what the fuck is going on.
But
you
think-
asked me for $15
For
my nigga.
$15.
I think just courage comes with age, though.
Yeah, and I was
Like,
young,
yeah,
and I was new
Yeah.
to like, I had just got out of my first big girl relationship. So it was just like, okay, this is dating.
Is this what's going on out here in the streets?
And that was my first, this is what we doing? Oh, hold on. Like, this is bad. So I was just, and then again, this is pre-City Girls. This is before I got radicalized by the City Girls. Rest in peace to the City Girls as a group.
Girl, I thought you. I said what?
As a
I
group.
was about to be
The
like, what
group.
you did
just the group.
The group. It's JT and Young Miami now. This is not City Girl. But like, I was like, you know what? I don't need no man. Boom. Paid. Like, if I could go back in time, I would float like fucking Edward in Twilight. Bitch, don't you fucking dare pay that man that $15 fucking dollars. Because it was for me, it was like, oh, it's the I don't need. No. Because I'm young.
This
But
is
like,
also a generally terrible nigga.
also that.
Yeah.
Even worse.
So it
I
was
would
just
request $15 from you, bitch. You
$15?
wasted- you
I should
pissed me
request
off.
You
it
should
right
request $15 from him.
A
He's just gonna want to
convenience
talk. But you should request $15 from him right now.
that
You
would be
should.
so
That's
funny.
wild. Okay, so ending it, this is what someone said in the comments. Once he starts talking about all of the shit he did for his ex, just know you got the broke version of him. Like,
Yep.
you-
Oh, I bought this for her. I did this for her.
and then you're kind of looking like,
Why are we even talking about this, nigga?
and why you
That's how
so
your
mad
day
about
was.
it?
Yeah.
Whew. Anyways, on that note, we're going to move on to Indecisive Diane. And when we come back, we have some advice letters for you.
Would you stop thinking about what everyone wants? Stop thinking about what I want, what he wants, what your parents want. What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want? What do you want?
Hey, ladies, it's Diane, your trusty data. So listen up. August 13th at 6:30 p.m. in Marietta, Georgia at Boxwood Social. They're doing a murder mystery cocktail party. The theme is wedding nuptials gone wrong. A member of the wedding party gets murdered, and you and your date, or you and your girls and your friends, have to figure out who done did it. This is one of those activities that's really fun if you're dating someone that likes to have a good time and do something different.
And we are back from Indecisive Diane, and it is time for the advice. If you have a question that you would like for us to answer on the show, please email us advice@cocktailspod.com.
Okay, so this one is titled, Help, Am I an ATM? Speaking of giving niggas money.
$15.
Right. Hey, Kiki and Medinah, and guests, if y'all have one. Sorry, it's a little long. So I have a question about a friendship of mine. I'm 21 and my friend is 22. She put friend in quotes though. My
Okay.
friend is
It's gonna
22.
get good.
We've been friends since 13 and 14, and I've been helping her ever since until I just recently cut her off. Oh, I thought it was going to be about like a romantic
man,
relationship.
yeah.
Just a quick backstory. In high school, I would do extra chores around the house to get extra money so that we could hang out. I would Uber to her house, pick her up, and then I wonder how old she is. You could Uber in high
She
school?
said 21 and 22.
Yeah,
Dang,
yeah.
having Uber in high school is crazy.
That's crazy.
Right.
I would be so scared. Okay. I would Uber to her house, pick her up, and then go to the mall from there instead of her having to catch 2 buses. I've always been giving, and I'm not the type of friend to eat while my friend is hungry. If I got it, you're good. So we would walk around the food court in the mall, going to different restaurants, and I would be looking at the menus to see which would be a better bang for my buck to make sure we were both fed. And whatever I ordered, I would make sure it was something that she liked to eat too, and ask for 2 straws and 2 forks. This
That's
is just to
sweet.
paint a picture of how far back this friendship went and how long I've been helping. So the final straw was this petty incident. We send each other reels and we react and respond to them daily. So she texted me to watch her reels because she watched mine, which I didn't see till about 2 hours later. But anyways, I went to our DMs to watch her reels, but noticed that she didn't respond to any of my reels. So we
is
are in
so-
2024.
Right. This is okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, baby.
They young.
Okay.
This is a different generation.
Okay, so I jokingly text her and say, who doesn't respond to reels? Boring. And she responds, bitch, I got one eye open. I'm tired from my shift, but I'm sure you have all the energy. Now, y'all might not see nothing wrong with that because she's just tired from working, right? No. For years, when she has a job and I don't, at the moment, she throws in my face how she's working and I'm not, which is a trigger for me, considering how I'm always helping her financially with or without a job. And I told her that was a trigger. And she called me psycho and said my period must have been coming on.
Damn.
But anyway.
Is this your friend for real?
That's what they're quotations.
Her saying, I'm sure you have all the energy, is her trying to be funny because she's working right now and I'm not. Which I then responded saying, I sure have all the money too.
Ooh.
Oh.
I like her. I like her. Because what the fuck are
She
you
said
talking
she
to?
ain't know how about it now. Okay.
And we ended up arguing, and she said that giving money is what friends are supposed to do, and how I'm complaining and throwing the fact that I helped her in her face. But I disagree. I was just reminding her. A few years back during COVID, she worked at a hotel making $800 every 2 weeks. Despite having no steady income myself, I would have to save her and send her money for the bus and Ubers because she would blow her money on clothes and food and whatever else she wanted.
You a trick.
So as you can see, she's irresponsible with money. I don't like to pocket watch, but when you have a steady source of income and I don't, but I'm constantly giving you money, I feel like I have the right to. And I'm not rich. Never grew up rich, never been rich, and if you keep behaving like this, you're not ever going to be rich.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen people struggling and living paycheck to paycheck, and I don't want to be like them. So because I want better, I save my money. I really try to be a good friend. I always go above and beyond for any friend of mine, whether that's being there for them financially, mentally, emotionally, or showing up. However, being there for them looks like. So I kept being there for her despite the slick comments. I know she didn't grow up learning about financial literacy because her mom didn't teach her, nor does her mom really help her now, which is why I try to help so much. But nigga, this past year, neither of us were working because we were in college. But whenever she comes across any money, she lives in the moment and spends it within 24 hours.
Damn.
So she still makes poor financial decisions. She would use a Cash App trick to get snacks from the vending machine. What's the Cash App trick?
That's a scam.
Resulting in negative card balances. So when I would help her, I would have to pay off her negative balance before sending her any money.
Okay, niece.
Friend, I've also
you
covered
have to
her
stop.
laundry, food, and transportation multiple times. Yet she throws in my face how she has a job and I don't. A few weeks back, she was hungry and I offered to buy her food if she walked to McDonald's, which was like a 5-minute walk. And instead of going, she gets a call from her other friend and she ends up going to the club. It's so frustrating because it feels like she's not even trying to get her life together. And I feel like I want it more than her.
You do.
And this isn't new. I've been having these financial conversations with her for years and nothing changed. So I'm done. Do y'all think I'm wrong for cutting her off?
No.
And if she calls or texts again because I haven't responded to anything, do y'all think I owe her an explanation as to why I'm cutting her off? I'm a Virgo and she's a Libra, just in case y'all were wondering. Exclamation mark.
So there are a couple things, man. I think sometimes in girl friendships, because women, I think people are catty in general, but I think women are more claws out.
Absolutely.
The response, when you joke, and it could be a joke that's taken out of context or taken wrong, and then your friend's reaction is to say the meanest possible thing, she been waiting to get that off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You've been one of them.
Not even just you had an adverse reaction to it, because it just been bitch, don't play with me like that. That's different.
Yeah.
But oh, I got a job and you don't. I bet you have all the energy. It reeks of jealousy. You're upset that you got, it reminds me of that video where they go I hate your braids. I hate your lashes. I hate that you got to make sandwiches late at night to the girl at Waffle House. That's what you should have said. I'm sorry you have to go shift it up. That's not my fault. I don't know what you want from me. I was just playing with you. I don't know. I think,
I think also she made a big stink about fucking reels when you weren't replying anyway. You've been just one of the problem. And also when people already have a problem, which she biting the hand to feed her, bitch, you want some money still, you might want to shut the fuck up. But
it's an unequal power dynamic.
It's an unequal power dynamic, and you wanted to make a problem seem anyway. So you kind of try to set it up so you can have some funny shit to say.
But what worries me about you, friend, who wrote this in, because y'all know,
stop doing it.
I'm on my inner self journey, and you always got to bring it back to you, because you do have to question yourself on, I get being a good friend, but when you get to the point where you start knowing, not even feeling, you know you're being taken advantage of, you know you're being talked about, you know you're around people who don't like you. It is now your responsibility to end the situation and move accordingly. You can't keep moving, because if you're moving like this with a friend, you're moving like this with men. And if you're being walked on and stepped on, and
people
you
pleasing.
are allowing it, and only you can stop that. So it's like, yes, cut this friendship off. You are not wrong for cutting this friendship off. And when you move forward in your life, notice what is in you vibrating to stuff like this. Because I feel like you might be overly giving to other people in your life. That doesn't help you. And even when people say things like, and this is all the stuff I do, this is all the stuff I do. Like my therapist be saying in couples therapy with me and my boyfriend, whenever he tries to start trying to say something that he's done, my therapist would be like, that's not my business. You decided to do that, right? You're a grown-up and you made a decision to do that. You wanted to help somebody. When you do decide to help somebody, unfortunately, you always got to just know that you could possibly take a L. That's how I have learned to help people. If I'm helping you for the kindness. And if I never get it back, I'm okay with it. But if you feel used, that's on you to like cut shit off. And I'm glad you're learning this early, because I learned that in my 30s. You got to recognize when something is not serving you anymore and decide to walk
and was
away.
never serving you.
It was this friendship. It ain't never been. You're tricking, and your friend knows that.
And the thing about it is, it would be different because, like, for me, if my friend is helping me and I'm popping up nails done, toes done, all that shit, a nigga is paying for it. It's not me. Like, I'm being financed all around. It's not like I'm making money and then I'm taking the money that I'm supposed to be giving back to you and then spending it on myself. Other people are doing this for me. She is actually having an income while you have been taking care of her, and then being
you don't have an income.
You're
and
then
both
gonna talk
college
shit.
students. Yeah. I don't think that you're wrong either. I think that you are right in leaving this friendship, like everyone else said. And I think that you need to make sure that also ask yourself, when you're reflecting on the situation, you don't have to give her an explanation. You can, but you need to ask yourself if you're strong enough to not get stuck back into that thing, because that's possible too. She could guilt trip you. Who knows what she'll say? Or she could do the thing where she apologizes and says things will be different, and they're not. And so you just need to figure out how strong you're going to be. And if you are not sure, don't do it. Don't do the explanation. Don't do any of that, and just move on, because you've been taken advantage of and you don't have to answer to that. And then ask yourself, why did you do that? Are you afraid of losing a friend? Are you afraid of being lonely? What is it that you're afraid of if you don't help her? Because she does have money to do it. And sometimes you got to let people fall on their ass, hit rock bottom, or whatever the case may be, so that they can make different decisions, because being a crutch to them is not going to help them at all.
Yeah, you might actually be helping her by cutting this off, because then it's going to force her to
and you're being taken advantage of and being mistreated. Like, that's two separate things. Like, her taking advantage of you is one thing, but then also like you taking advantage of me and we got beef. Not like we have a misunderstanding, because people are in relationships, especially duos, friendships. Like, it's always going to be some things that you need to address. But you got a thing with me that we haven't talked about. You got a thing that, like, I've not heard of this until today. I've not heard that you be working and I don't until today. So what the fuck is this?
Yeah. And why are you so intertwined? Like, sometimes I look at like friendships and it's like, bro, we are adults.
Girl,
like,
look at baby adults.
You working, I'm not working. You better grab the reins of your life, sweet baby girl.
Yeah,
sometimes the girl friendships, in my experience, because when I was younger, sometimes like things are gay. And I wonder a question there too. I'm not trying to be funny, but sometimes things are gay and the girls leave that out of their letters because they don't know who they are yet. I'm not saying you, baby. But some of the girls are homosexuals and they don't put that into the letter. But it's like,
maybe that's the time.
Maybe
you're in love with her.
Maybe. Because like, I've had friends that like, I'd be like, why do I feel so strongly about this? Or why am I so upset? Or why am I so angry? Or why am I doing X, Y, Z? You love that hoe and that hoe love you, and it's not friendship. You bitches are in love.
Oh. I had some
not
friends
saying
like
that this is the case, but
school.
sometimes it is.
Mm-hmm. And they used to have these little petty arguments about money and shit, and who was up and who was down. And
because I just don't even feel like that's like. So we're gonna end the advice segment and move on to the CockTales. And yeah.
Spend 100 on me, it ain't nothing. Run it double D, so stuff it. Back to the point. Is it some cash in this place?
not long ago, I was a hoe, 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 was a hoe, 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 was a
Email it to us, cocktails@cocktailspod.com.
You guys are sharing the cocktails.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there a prompt or?
Oh, I assumed
You emailed us.
Okay, so
You did.
Was there a prompt? I thought I read the
There's no
email.
problem.
just
It's
a sex story.
dating, sex.
We told so many
experience.
stories already.
Yeah. It's got to be a sex story?
It could be a date.
A date? Okay.
it can be,
told so
think of a
many.
story-worthy story that you have shared to the girls at brunch or in a text, and they're like, no, he did it, or no, he did it, or oh, no, he did
I
it.
have a story, but it's about like the situation where I did the world's most awful thing. But it's one of those things like I feel bad about doing the awful thing, but I don't feel bad about the experience, which is so bad.
Will you feel bad sharing it to us?
I don't feel bad. I mean, it's my life. It happened already. I can't undo it. So
Share it.
whatever. Okay. So when I was 23 years old, I met a boy. And I was working an event, and I work in a field where like it's very totem pole-y. Like it's like intern, and then you get a real job, and then you just move up the ladder. So this was like my step up from intern. So I'm like, I really have to show, that I'm doing what I'm doing. So it's like, I'm boss bitch. I'm about my business. Like I'm not fucking around. So part of my job was to like make sure that everybody was where they were supposed to be at and that they were seated. Like you're supposed to sit down. So this is big, tall for nothing ass nigga standing near the door. He was just so hot to me, but I'm like, I'm at work. Like, I'm not finna fuck around with this nigga.
I'm a professional.
Because I was young, very slutty. So if I hadn't been at work, like me and you, we go together. Like, that's what it would have been. So I was like, hey, man, like, I'm gonna need you to have a seat. And he's like, all right, yeah, cool. And then he didn't have a seat. And then so I came back and I said it again. Like, hey, bro, like, at this point, like, I'm devolving from professionalism and I'm getting irritated. You're not listening to me. I'm like, hey, bro, you're gonna have to have a seat. So he's like, okay. And never had a seat. So I was like, hey, man, I know you heard me tell you to have a seat. So he goes, I'm gonna have some fun with you. Ooh. And I said, okay. I said, well, can you have a seat first? Like, you want to sit down?
Pre-fun.
And so he just attaches himself to my hip all day. And we just laugh. And it was just like very like meet cute, like movie type shit. So then maybe like a week later, he was like, I want you to come out with me and my LB. He's like, just go get something to eat or whatever. I'm like, I don't want to go nowhere with you and your LB. I like you. Like, who the fuck is this nigga? But I asked my homegirl to come with us because like, I don't want to be on a double date with like two niggas and it's just me. Like, I don't want to be in a throuple. He tells me that he's engaged. So he's like, I brought you here because I wanted you to meet my LB because like, he's single, you're single, he's a really good person. And he's kind of saying it like we have not been like flirting and he has not like been attracted to me and we've not been talking on the phone. So I'm like, are you crazy? I'm like, I said,
now he's passing you off.
I said, are you passing me off to your LB? I said, have we not? I said, is this not a thing? Like, are you crazy? And he's like, no, like, I think I'm in love with you. So I'm trying to get rid of you. Like, he's like, I want you. He's like, I want you around. He's like, I don't want you out of my life. He's like, and this is my friend. He's like, so I know I'll always see you, basically. He's like, but
I'm going home. I'm calling the police.
It was so crazy. But at the time, it was romantic to me. I was like, oh, this nigga love me because I'm a lunatic. So
them early 20s, I would never go back.
So he was like, he's like, I knew that if I told you the truth that I would never see you again. So I wanted you to meet my friend. And I hope that y'all had some chemistry because, I do want to see you like all the time. So I said, don't ever fucking speak to me again. I said, you and your fucking boring ass LB can go to hell. I don't want to. I collected my friend. I told her what happened. She was like, fuck that nigga. We'll never see him again. He sucks. So the office.
What fraternity was this? Just giving Kappa.
He was an Alpha.
Okay.
My office was near Georgia State's campus, and somehow he figured out where my office was, and he just started showing up. Now, in hindsight, this is crazy.
He's engaged?
He engaged to be married.
Imagine being the person marrying someone like this.
He showed up. I've never told this story on camera before. So, and
I'm in it. I've never heard this shit.
So he starts showing up to my office every day because I was in charge of the volunteers. Like, so I gave volunteers jobs. And he's like, well, you can't be mean to me. I'm a volunteer. You don't have to talk to me, but give me something to do. So I would just send him away. And then he would come back and be like, I need something to do. Like, I'm here to volunteer. So I would like take the office chairs apart before he would show up and make him put it back together. I decided that I was going to haze him because fuck you. Stop showing up here. And where's your bitch? Like, what is going
Is she real? Or was she like a mail order bride?
She's real. They're married.
Oh.
And she's not a mail order bride. She's a real life bride. And so he showed up like later in the evening, like when I was closing up the office one night. And I was like, bro, you got to get the fuck out of here. Mind you, we hadn't touched, we hadn't kissed, any of that. He got under my desk and ate my vagina in my very first office. This is the first office I ever had as a professional. Sorry to my manager at the time because he was still cool. He got under my desk and ate my vagina. And I was just like, ooh.
Not the vagina.
I was like, oh, I'm in a crime. This is a crime against relationships because I'm still a good person. So I'm like thinking like there's a girl like somewhere like,
where's this nigga at?
where's this nigga at?
To come home.
And he's under the goddamn desk.
Eating my pussy.
When he finished, I was like, okay, great. This can never happen again. And so we were walking by like one of the conference rooms and he took me in the conference room and he like bent me over the desk. Because I feel like I'm telling like a crime. And he bent me over the desk.
This is a movie.
And he like fucked me. And he was like, you and I are never... He's like, I don't know what's gonna happen to my life. He's
You
like,
sound like Allison on House of Drugs. She always telling the night she gonna stop fucking him and then turn around, bent over,
once we
getting
fucked
fucked.
that one time, I never said that I was gonna stop fucking him. I never told that lie ever once.
Oh.
Before the sex happened, I'm like, I'm cool with never seeing you again. Like, this was a great connection, but like,
Once
the dick happened, I was like, tell them how we go together. Nigga, we go together. And it was just because I was such a young dumbass, so easy to put her out of my mind. But like, we had a torrid affair for some time, for some years, on and off.
I really wonder why people like that go and get married. Like, why don't you just
leave that lady alone?
It was really bad. And it's like one of the things that I regret most of my life, but I can compartmentalize it. That I regret that I did that. I don't regret none of that fucking. I on my soul.
That was some character building.
That was some character building fucking. I owe a large part of my sexual development to that situation. Girl, I'm so sorry. But oh, child, that was to this day, that's the most movie thing that had ever happened to me. That is the most cinematic, romantic. And it's not romantic now, but it was at the time. That's the most cinematic thing that has ever happened to me. I thought that shit only happened in books. It was like a Zane book.
It sounds like
I'd never experienced anything like that before. I was like, oh, grown people be fucking. That I became a woman.
When you learn how to have grown sex, you like,
that grown sex is like, this is what the songs are
this
about.
is what the song doing. I said, this is what the Isley brothers were talking about. This is real.
It's real.
Oh, I believe. Sorry to that woman. I apologize. And I thought of like being like, girl, I'm so sorry that I ruined part of your formative years too. That was so fucked up.
Do you think she found out?
She knew who I was. She found out who I was. Like, he was like on the phone with me one time and he was like in the driveway on the phone and she like came out and was like, I will fucking leave you. And that was like the most adult thing that I ever heard. She was like, I don't have to do this anymore. I was like, I'm ruining lives. But then that's why that nigga had to cheat on me with 8 bitches. So I could learn to not play with people like that. Earth is healed.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I hope y'all not judging me. I mean, I don't feel bad about it.
I said I could relate. Well, I mean, he wasn't married.
No, he got married. He got married.
I'm talking about my situation. I'm saying I could relate to that because when somebody fucks you like that, it is it can be hard to say no.
Yeah.
I get it.
You got one?
My turn. What tough act to follow? I think I'll tell my air mattress saga. The air mattress era. Okay, so coming off the heels of the terrible fashion show experience, I had to come back home from New York. It was depressing as fuck. They didn't have a job to give me because they were going through a merger. I was just crashing the fuck out. So you do something really cool. So everybody saw that last cool shit you did, not knowing you ain't did shit else. Yeah. So I'm just back home like crashing. Oh, you still in New York doing the thing? I'm just like. So I'm doing terrible. Just turned 25. Like my brain is finally developed, but it's not all the way baked and finished in the middle. So I'm still just doing shit. So like I had just met Talley. My friend had came in town because she was getting married. So she was like, I'm coming to Atlanta to get my hair done and then going back to Florida, whatever. Because you go to Atlanta to get your hair done, period. And we were like, okay, well, let's make it a weekend. Like let's make it a line sister weekend. We're gonna be all together. Guess.
Oh, I hate doing that.
I love because people always say the wrong thing. It's AKA.
Okay, I'm adopted.
But okay, I don't know that. People always think I'm adopted because like I'm normal. So like people always think like, oh, you're adopted. No, I'm just one of the few normal ones. So we're like, yeah, let's make it a weekend. And so we went to Publix. The Publix over here actually, which I had no business over here. So we go to Publix.
What were you doing over here?
Because my line sister lives over here.
Okay.
So we went to her Publix because she has a house. So we all had the sleepover and shit at her house because she had an actual home. So we go to Publix. And this is when I was still wearing my hair natural all the time. Like I'm just in between hairstyles right now. But I was wearing an afro all the time. I had my little nose. I just got the hoop at that time. So I'm walking down the frozen aisle and I see a nigga who looked just like me. He has a curly afro. He has a nose ring. He's like 6'2". Brown skin, fine, beautiful. He looked like Iman Shumpert. Beautiful man. I'm just like, fuck, this nigga fine.
It's so hard for me to think he's fine still.
And well, damn, I forgot. Damn, niggas ruin everything.
$18,000 a month to
but
eat.
this is like when they were still gold. So I'm just like, oh shit. So I see him, but he's on the phone. So when you see a man on the phone in the grocery store, you have a bitch. Like that's just
She's giving you
science.
instructions.
You
on what
asking
you
her
The bitch is
where
like,
are
what kind of
what's a russet potato?
what kind of
Where's
what
it at?
exactly? So I'm
Yep.
like, you have a bitch. I'm gonna just leave it alone. So we go on the line. I think we like awkwardly locked eyes in the checkout line, and I'm just like, but you have a bitch because you're on the phone. So I'm not even gonna like press it for real. So we walk into the check. We walk through the checkout. We go to the car, and I was like, okay, now I drove. So I'm like, now little cutie from the checkout locked eyes at me. I'm going to just chill for a second because he was behind us. I'm like, I'm going to find this nigga. I'm going to say something. Because I'm coming off the hills of being in New York, and I had the hoes in New York. So I'm like, I can have any nigga I want. I was just so confident coming off New York. I was just poor. So and I'm like, damn, where the fuck did little Afro go? I can't find this nigga. So he pulls up on me in an empty parking spot next to me. And was like, hi, I just think you're really beautiful. I would love to take you out to dinner. And I'm just like,
Direct?
So I'm like, because usually niggas like, can I have your number, whatever. But like, I would love to take you out to dinner. I'm like, hell yeah. Yeah, you can take me out to dinner, nigga. So
You forgot all about the girlfriend on the phone.
Right. So a week passes. I go to the actual wedding, come back. My hair is still in the same weave ponytail from the wedding. Like my hair's done. So we go to dinner and he's like, what do you like? I said, I like pasta. And he's like, okay, what side of town do you live? I'm like, oh, I'm like in the Decatur-ish area. So he's like, I found a pasta restaurant. I ain't never had no nigga be intentional enough. Like, what do you like? Let me look up the restaurant. So I'm like, I'm so grown. I'm 25, bitch. And he was like 29. So I'm like, oh, he old, bitch. So we go to dinner. He orders like a bottle of wine. So this is my first time when they bring the little wine cooler, like the little ice chiller shit, whatever the fuck. Yes, she's so classy, right? So they bring it to him like, oh, we got a bottle of wine, bitch. So like, I'm so excited. So we go on the date. And then I had to drive him to his car because I had a better parking spot than he did. So we go in the car and he's just like, oh, like, what are you thinking about? I was just like, you're so nice. You have such a nice face. I want to kiss it. Because again, I got game. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I love that.
fucking gaming these hoes
Are
up,
you a
right?
Libra?
I'm a Cancer. My birthday's on Thursday.
Oh, happy early birthday.
Thank you. So I drive him to his car and naturally we start kissing or whatever. And when I tell you, we was going at it in my little bitty crossover SUV. Like, we was going crazy. This is a big-ass nigga. We end up in my back seat.
Ooh, I know this story.
Yeah. We end up in my back seat. He eats my coochie in the back seat of my crossover SUV. He sucks my toes in the back seat of my crossover SUV. And he eats my ass on the first day in the back seat of my crossover SUV.
Whore, I love it.
How was his performance?
It was
Amazing.
Good. It was spectacular. I know it was. Because if you eat butt on the first day.
Which is like eating butt.
Eating my butt in my back seat with your big ass. We could have gone to prison.
That's true.
I never think
That's
about
a sex
that part.
crime.
It was a sex crime. And I'm just like, I have never had this much fun in my fucking life. I drove home. Like, you ever just drive home after doing some like fucking scandalous shit and you just like sitting on your wet coochie as you drive home, just like,
Everything is perfect.
Would I do that? It was so
the
much
wind
fun.
blowing.
Yeah, like, you know how that first day goes so crazy. Like, okay, what are we doing tomorrow, bitch?
I
Like,
love
the
you.
next day we went to Main Event over there in Cobb. And like we playing air hockey. You would think we had been together for years. We took the little photo booth pictures. We kissing in the pictures. We hugged. I'm like, this prom. I met him a week ago. This is our second fucking day.
It's love at first sight. That's how I would have been feeling.
And he did all the aforementioned things again in the backseat of my crossover SUV in the Main Event parking lot. That's the second time I was telling you about yesterday.
Did you start to wonder if he didn't have a home?
So
he didn't.
He
you
was
eat
like,
butt on the first day. You need a place.
That's
to
some
stay.
shit a nigga that need a place to stay do.
So he had a place to stay. He's like, I just moved here. He had a nice car. So I'm like, okay, cool. You're paying for this car somehow. He's like, I just moved in, blah, blah, blah. Cause I'm just like, where are we going to your home? Like, it's time for dick. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, look, I just moved in, blah, blah, blah. And I think that Friday we went back to the same, because it's a movie theater connected to the Main Event. So we went back. I think we couldn't see. It was the Joker was out. And we go back to the movies and he's like, I was like, what we doing? And he was like, oh, well, I just moved in, like I don't have no furniture, whatever. I was like, you just moved in, it's fine. Like I'm not tripping. So he had an air mattress. And I went to his home. We got some drink, went to the liquor store, got some liquor. We went to the air mattress and I was like, because this is when we had first, this is when Lauren had started telling her air mattress jokes. I remember laughing like, girl, I would never fucking no air mattress. That's crazy. And then here I am face to face with this fucking air mattress, just like, I fucked on that fucking air mattress. And that nigga put me through the goddamn ground. It was insane. Like, honestly,
not through the ground.
He like through the air mattress, through the air, through the other side of the air mattress, through the carpet. It was just, he fucked the shit out of me on this air mattress. And I'm just like, wow. But this was like a temporary thing. So the second and third time I get over it, I was like, all right, Like,
When you get
because I'm like, okay, you know, we can be romantic like 500 days of summer and go to IKEA for a day. That would be so cute. Like, let's make it a thing. He's like, no, I don't really like none of the beds in here. And I'm just like,
You need a
something.
bed, nigga.
where's the bed?
We gonna get some meatballs in the mattress right now.
Because we was fucking on that, like we was having a good time, and then just the conclusion of the day, like it just all it ended really badly, just from like.
Did you end up ghosting him or did?
So God bless him. I tell these air mattress jokes all the time. I know one day he's gonna be in the audience and just shoot the fuck out of me like on Degrassi or some shit. Like I'm scared. Like that's my worst fear. Like bitch, it's funny, huh? That's my fear. If anybody ever
he has had a glow up and he's like, yeah, I bet
girl,
you.
Girl, fuck you. I got a fucking California king, bitch. Like I don't know. I tell the story because it's funny, but it was like I really did like that boy. Like I really liked him. So we ended up he never got a bed. Like that's just the conclusion. But he got a TV instead. And I'm just like,
of course,
priorities.
And we ended up stopped talking because again, I was really, really poor. And he lived like past Six Flags. And I live on the east side. Like I can't keep driving over here.
He basically lives in Alabama.
But far as fuck. So I'm like, I can't keep driving over here because I don't have money for gas like that. Like I'm poor for real. So we broke up because it was the day Kobe died. We was at brunch. And you know, niggas everywhere had a very hard time that day. We was at brunch. We had a great, I want to say we was having a good time. I went to church, but I was still going to church. I went to church and I was like, hey, meet me at such and such place for brunch. We went to brunch and I'm at the table scrolling and I see somebody tweet, damn, Kobe. I'm like, what the fuck happened to Kobe? I thought he retired, whatever the fuck. And that's when all the shit just started coming in, like that he had died. And he took that really, really hard. Like, you know, niggas had just lost Nipsey. So they was still very tender. And then Kobe died. Like, he legit started crying. And I'm not even trying to make fun of him. Like, it was really, like, emotional. Like, I had to, like, really console him. But I had to go. I had to leave. Like, no, I was there. But I was like, hey, I have to, like, it's something I have to go. Like, I have to meet my mom for something. And he was like, well, can you come back out and come be with me like after you go to dinner? I was like,
this is like that scene in Love and Basketball.
It was very Love and Basketball.
You got mad at Monica because she had to go to her curfew and he gonna be mad and start cheating. Nigga,
I can't come back out to Six Flags, bro. Like that's far as
this is like, around the corner. Bro, you did not know Kobe. Rest in peace. But
that's 2 notches of gas. So
you can't offer no gas money.
That's 2 little bullets of gas. Getting on I-20 that goddamn long for 30 miles.
I'm never going past Six Flags for anything. Ain't nothing for me out there.
It's so fucking fun. And I felt bad, but like we didn't talk for days. And he like hit me up with like, I just wanted to like, why you didn't let me love you or some shit. It just got really weird. I was like, all right, man.
Why you couldn't love me at my house?
I had to block him on everything. God, I hope you're doing well, sir. Please do not harm me. But like, it was really bad. It was really emotional. So it kind of like kickstarted the pandemic, and I was just so depressed during the pandemic
because
there's more to the story. Not like he did.
There's a lot of shit going on.
It was like, and then like my life just started coming in shambles because I was still unemployed. Child, I had like so like. Fun fact for the younger, clearly some young Gen Z girlies. Sometimes if you get a positive test for the big H on your STD panel, you may have just had mono. At the time, I didn't know that. So it was just a lot going on.
You was having a meltdown.
I was having a meltdown.
Is the big H herpes or HIV?
Herpes. Oh, God.
I forgot about that big monster.
I was like, that's the big
That's a big
herpes.
Big
So they're in the same family. So it's like shingles, chickenpox, herpes, mono. They all pop up the same on the panel. Because I had mono in like 2016, but it was popping up on my panels when I was getting tested for shit. And I was just like, I'm being punished for this air mattress shit. I don't have no job. The world is shut down.
If the Lord didn't punish me for fucking on that lady husband until recently, you did not get the big H from the air mattress. I promise.
I'm just, but when everything's already going wrong, you're just like, you know what? Sure. So that was an experience. But you know, it was like you said, I regret some things, but honestly, it was so much fun. I get to tell those kind of stuff. I had a blast in that fucking air mattress. It was a big ass bounce house, and you know what?
An adult.
It was great. That was some top 3 dick on that damn.
Thank y'all so much for
we had too much fun. Thank y'all.
This is amazing. Thank you. Let everybody know where they can find you, how they can keep up, where they can listen to your podcast.
Yeah, the podcast itself is Jokes on You Pod on just about everything. Jokes on You Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, YouTube, Apple, Google. All the things. It should be on Google Play.
Google's done now. Google Podcast.
Really? Well, hell. Spotify, Apple, whatever the fuck.
And our socials, I'm Tally Berry Baby on everything.
It's Mel Mitch on Instagram. I'm the baddest Mitch on Twitter and TikTok. Some white girl got the name, so I couldn't have it on everything. But it does help when the incels try to come harass me on Instagram.
They
it's not the
harass
same
her.
name.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So, but yes, thank y'all so much for having me.
Thank
We
you.
would love
We
to
had a
go.
blast.
Let us know when we can come on your show. 'Cause
Yes.
we would love
Literally,
to see
please
how y'all
come
run
on.
things.
That
over
would be
there.
so fun.
Yes.
It's just a bunch of tangents. So that's what's going to happen.
It'll be a blast.
Yeah.
It'll be
Yes.
a blast.
Fun.
You guys
Yes.
make sure that you have signed up for Patreon, patreon.com/CockTales. It is linked below. Make sure you're also following us on Instagram. We're at CockTales Podcast. I'm at Kiki Said So.
I'm at Coffee Bean Dean.
And until next week, you guys,
goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Goodbye.